Welcome to the show, Kerrilynn and Cindy from Cat Beauty. What's cracking?
Just arrived in LA and super happy to be here.
When did y'all get here?
So happy to be here. We got here
yesterday?
Friday.
From New York?
No, we were in Northern California. We were outside of San Francisco.
That's my homeland. Where were you?
Yeah, we stayed in San Francisco. We had some meetings in Marin, and
we had some hikes to do in Marin.
We had some walking meetings to do in Marin.
To be there too.
And
we really fell in love with it.
Yeah, it was really beautiful.
Yeah.
And then we came down here.
Yeah.
So, have either of you lived in LA before?
No.
Okay. And I'm assuming you're not
Wishful.
New Yorkers that like hate LA then.
No, on the contrary.
We love LA.
I think it's changed a lot, but
Yeah.
I've been here for 28 years, and like back in the day, if I ever met someone from New York, they're like, it sucks being here in LA, it sucks here. There was like this huge divide.
Yeah.
We are on
between
the
the
side
two
of the
cities.
divide that loves LA.
Yeah, and we've
immensely.
never been LA haters. I
You know
was
what I'm
actually
talking
more
about, though?
skeptical about Northern California, and just recently, like the last
Because
few
you think
times
it's going to
I've
be
been
like all granola, like
well, I'm
weird.
kind of cool with granola. It's more like I always thought it was kind of righteous,
oh,
a
okay,
little judgmental, maybe a
Cold.
little bit gimmicky.
right.
But now I like it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, San Francisco, I moved from there when I was 19, and at that time there was there should have been like a divide in the state of California between North and South, because if
Totally.
you moved to LA, but this is like at the end of the 80s, so
Yeah.
LA was like yellow Lamborghinis and boob jobs, and it was like it was like very superficial, you know?
Yes,
I mean,
right.
that's how it was perceived, and it really was actually like that.
Yeah.
So if you moved to LA, it was like, oh my God, there was this
Like
elitist sort of disdain that you had made that decision.
I grew up in Oregon, so I had a little bit of that programming as a kid.
Right.
Like in Portland, everybody's like, oh, Californians, and especially the ones from LA.
Yeah.
And I quickly outgrew that. Upon coming to LA, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, LA's amazing. It's such a remarkable place.
There's been an awakening here, I think,
Yeah.
too, in terms of just
Yeah.
health and wellness and spirituality.
oh,
I mean,
yeah.
all the people I know are very authentic and cool and loving, kind, compassionate,
Yeah.
conscious people.
Absolutely.
But I don't go to nightclubs and like do blow. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? So it's like,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
The
sure there
environment
still
is
is this
important.
underground of like narcissistic, materialistic, vapid
Yeah.
people.
I
I just
mean,
don't.
Yeah.
We're not on the
everyone's
same
everywhere.
radar.
Yeah.
Right. It's also for us, it's so inspiring to be in a place where we go somewhere and we see a lot of people who sort of look like they're doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And
Right.
as opposed to, in New York, we have this store in the West Village, and it's like the only place to buy certain things that, now in LA we see everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
So
You
it's
guys are ahead.
Yeah, and it feels
Right.
good to be with so many like-minded people who are
I
sort of on
agree.
the same
I
Yeah.
agree.
on the
Cool.
same trip.
Well, get my notes here. Well, welcome to LA.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
I heard a rumor, and you can either confirm or deny this, that you guys might be opening something around these parts soon.
Yes.
We are.
We are.
Yeah, we definitely are. That's why we're out here. We're actually looking at our location.
Oh, you already got the location.
Yes.
We do. have
Damn,
the
paper
location.
signed and
Yeah.
everything?
Paper
Everything
signed,
signed.
everything
Yes.
signed.
Good for
Signed
you.
and underway.
Now just waiting to be delivered.
It's we're not going in it on our own. We're actually going to be part of a much larger
Cool.
business that's happening.
yeah,
Can
Awesome.
we say?
I think so.
I think we can say, 'cause
Yeah.
this is probably,
Okay.
we're going to be the beauty department in the new Fred Segal.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And they're opening on Sunset in La Cienega, so it's a
Really?
fully new location.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're,
that's
I don't
a
know if you
great
know much
location
about
for you
the
guys.
business, but they're basically shutting down the stores they have, and they're rebuilding this flagship.
No
that's-
kidding. That's funny because
kind of a new
I just
DNA.
went there the other day and had lunch for the first time in ages. When I used
Right.
to be a
Yeah.
stylist, I would
Yeah.
go, obviously go
Yeah.
there a lot. And I was like, oh yeah, Fred Segal. I drive. It's on Crescent Heights, so I drive by it
Yeah.
every day on the way to yoga. And I don't know. It's
Yeah.
weird. I hadn't been in there in a long time.
It was so great.
Yeah.
And then
Oh
it
yeah,
sort
I
of-
mean that's like quintessential LA
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah.
and
I think they're
fashion.
going to bring it back with this new one. It's really ambitious, the project. They have Tartine going in there from San Francisco.
Wow.
Bill Chate's putting in a restaurant. There's a bunch of fantastic stores.
Kith.
What a great
Yeah,
affiliation.
Kith will be in
It's
there
gonna
as
be
well.
good.
They're going to have a
I think you guys are
6,000 square
crushing
foot
it.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's also
awesome.
cool that they've decided that their beauty department is going to be somewhere that only sells natural products and
Yeah.
medicinal
Right.
mushrooms and
Yeah.
Right.
herbs, and that's great.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
just
that's-
excited because it's like, I mean, obviously in New York City, women want to look good, and there's,
Yeah, sure.
it's the fashion industry capital
Yeah.
of the world and
Yeah.
all of that. But in LA, it's like, it's so much about how you look.
Yeah.
And I find when I coach women or just talk to women, like that's the one thing they can't let go of is like the toxic cosmetics and beauty
Yeah.
products and stuff. They're just like, I don't give a shit if my Chanel lipstick has lead in it.
Yeah.
It's the best lipstick.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You know, I think
So
it's like
it's been tough because I can't be like, go to this spot. Like I sent them
Right.
to Living Libations, which
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
I use their stuff a
Yeah,
lot.
I love
we
that
love
stuff.
that.
Nadine's been on the show, but they don't, there's no makeup.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right. It's funny. Our business is definitely. This might be because the two of us aren't big makeup people. We're probably more into like skincare, and we're really into like luminosity and
Yeah.
radiance.
right.
And, things like
And
that.
you both look
Yeah.
so
Thanks.
as well.
Thank
yeah.
you.
But makeup's not as huge a focus in our store, I would
Yeah.
say, as maybe some other beauty stores. But there's some great lines, and I think that the main thing is like we've seen a shift in that people have stopped asking like, does it work? That was something that we used to
Oh,
get
yeah.
early on in the days. It's like, okay, well, I believe that it's better to use naturals, but do they work? And
Isn't
now
that
it's like,
funny?
yeah, they work. They work better because there's nothing in our products that are designed to kill things.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we,
yeah.
And there's
You
no
know,
fillers. It's
there's
just
no fillers.
true
It's just all active,
solid active.
and
That's funny 'cause
botanicals.
that's-
and it's really like it's a different look than say surgery.
Yeah.
But it's a look that I'm much more interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's-
absolutely.
And
yeah,
there's
that's
categories that are further along
For
within
sure.
Right.
naturals. Makeup, unfortunately, is one that's not like, to get that really, really intense red Chanel lipstick in
It's not quite
naturals,
there
that
yet.
translation, it's not totally there
Right.
yet.
'Cause I-
Yeah,
I
or
can't-
you can
but-
get it, but it's not going to be vegan.
Exactly.
So
Right.
it depends on, you know,
Yeah.
and you just have to decide. So many people come to naturals for so many different reasons.
Right.
Sometimes it's health, sometimes it's like a political thing, sometimes it's
Right.
environmental. So it sort of depends on
Yeah.
on your
And the advances are being made rapidly. It's really quite remarkable. I mean,
Good, because the
Cindy and
makeup
I-
is really the thing. I mean, I
Yeah.
have like, I didn't wear it today, unfortunately. So sorry, people on YouTube. Don't look as beautiful as I might, but
Yeah.
I have like my little stage makeup,
Yeah.
whatever shit for being on camera.
Yeah.
I think I went to like Sephora, and was just like, I make my zits go away when I'm
Yeah,
on
right.
shooting. But it's so infrequent that I wear it. It's like,
Yeah.
whatever. I know it's like the most toxic, nasty shit ever, but
We're
it's,
also
I'm
not
not wearing it
judgmental
every
of
Yeah.
day.
that. Like if
Totally.
somebody really wants to wear their red Chanel lipstick, great.
Yeah.
And then pick and choose the other things that are actually going to
Right.
impact your health in a more positive way. We're
Right.
not.
or like nail polish. We don't
Yeah.
sell it because
Yeah.
it's not 100% natural. And
Right.
we really are strict with that. But we both get our toenails done. you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Do you,
dye.
if I had my nails done, I would wear like a one of those like toxic, like a
Like a
gas
gas
mask.
It can be
Like,
and like a yeah. It
I've
can
been
be
with girlfriends
intense.
and like walked into the nail salon and I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
I know
Like, this
we're really
place is-
I think
conditioned
those
to think
women
it's
who work
in
okay.
there-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so
It's
toxic.
really, really toxic.
Well, we're gonna get.
Hazmat suits.
I always like start these conversations and then I just go off on the thing and I'm like, okay, let's create some context. I mean, it's very nonlinear still.
Well.
But before we get into some of the details, I do want to rewind a little bit and talk about how you all get into this. So as I understand, I've looked at your site, your blog, researched the store, researched you guys as much as I could, but there's like a nod to you both having a background in fashion and things like that and styling.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those that crossed over from
Yeah.
that industry too, so that really piqued my interest. So
Yeah.
what are the backgrounds of both of you, and how did you end up here?
Well, we call them fashion refugees.
Right,
Basically, the ones who are in fashion and
Yeah,
then
we have a lot of
for
them.
lots of reasons came over to the world of wellness because they needed it and needed to incorporate it into their lives because of the way they were living. But I had a store in the West Village, which was the space that CAP now is, and it was a clothing boutique. I started in Brooklyn, had the store in the West Village called Castor and Pollux, and liked it a lot and love fashion and love that kind of realm of beauty, but started a small category of naturals within the store and saw an amazing shift in terms of how women interacted with what they were purchasing. Like when people were coming in and they were actually buying clothing, it was a totally different experience. There was a lot of self-loathing. There was a lot of, I can't afford this. I don't fit in this. I don't have the life for this. So it was always kind of coming, not always, but oftentimes coming from this place of negativity, not a place of actually trying to like take care of somebody. And when I brought on the naturals, it was a totally new thing for me. It was like these women were seeing really amazing results and they were interacting with products on a daily basis in a way that they just didn't with their clothing. And so there was this ritualistic aspect that came into play and I just fell in love with it, like really, really hardcore. And at that same time, I had found out that I had celiac, so I was really looking at the food I was eating, and then I went like super deep down the rabbit hole and started looking into the products I was using and really everything that this lifestyle kind of encompasses, which is so much more than beauty for us. It's not it's not just about lipstick or nail polish or even, you know, a skin cleanser. For us, it really is the whole of what makes up a beautiful life.
I can tell from geeking out on your blog, which, by the way, your blog is amazing and it's so gorgeous. I was like, oh my God. I just made like a Squarespace website. It's like, okay, people are like, oh, your site's nice. I'm like, I think it sucks. But I looked at your blog extensively and some of the articles and stuff. I was like, oh my God, the photography and just the font, the whole art direction is just fantastic, and the content's
so
really
nice
good.
to hear.
Congratulations.
Kerrilynn's husband does a lot of our photography, so we're really lucky. Like it's sort of in the family. And
I was like, this is not stock photography. Like, where are they getting this stuff?
No,
it
we
looks
shoot
so
it
beautiful.
all.
Yeah, and Cindy does all the styling with him. So all the photography
cool.
and styling is the two of them.
Yeah, you've created a really great
they're
brand.
really,
I think
really
that's what's really
fantastic.
exciting now, that people like you are coming from other industries, fashion, entertainment industry, and realizing like, wow, there's like a viable way to make a living in this marketplace,
Absolutely.
but still carry an aesthetic, and especially in the, and I want to hear your story too. I'm not forgetting that. But it's like, I got into health and wellness, 25 years ago. Right. And back then it's like every single supplement company had like the shittiest branding, it's like the websites were totally archaic even, then, and a lot of them still are now. And it's like, I don't know, if you are an aesthetically oriented person, it's kind of a turn off.
Totally.
And there's some brands like Sun Potion, I'm sure you guys know, for example. It's like,
we sell
the minute I saw that stuff, I'm like, oh, this is cool. And they have a great
totally.
Instagram account. And it's really neat because it reaches,
and they're stylish.
It reaches another demographic that maybe wouldn't really be attracted to that if they had some corny ass branding and packaging and website.
That was a huge part of why we opened. It was like, this stuff is relevant and it's modern and it appeals to someone with a modern sensibility and sophisticated, but there's nowhere that satisfies how to shop for it.
Yeah.
Right. So what's your background?
So I am and was a prop stylist and
prop stylist. Okay, cool.
Interiors, set design. So we met working at Martha Stewart. I was an editor at the magazine, a style editor, and Kerrilynn did product development. And I kind of stayed in that world, like that very kind of lifestyle tabletop decorating world. And then things kind of shifted, like Domino closed and House and Garden closed. And then I started doing more fashion because...
I miss Domino. I forgot about that magazine.
That was a great
magazine.
magazine.
I used to have a lot of their tear sheets like on my vision boards.
Yeah, they were fun
This
to work.
It looks like
apartment
they
is
came to
probably
fruition.
like part Domino
Right?
on some level. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And they were really fun to work for. And so I did, I was in that world and then started working more in fashion, but as a set designer and a stylist. And, as you know, it's like, it's kind of hard to take good care of yourself in that world. And there's a lot of people who are interested. And I'm always amazed by how many people are like, from makeup artists who are like for their own products buying naturals, but probably for work not using them. People are like always interested in, their astrology and their health food trends and things like that. But it's still kind of a rough lifestyle. Like you're on planes all the time and it's, the schedule's so up in the air. You can never make it yoga. It's like... It's
gnarly.
Yeah.
I always have to be... I don't know if you guys are aware, but I own a fashion school. It's called School of Style. I've been doing that for about coming on 9 years. And, trained like 3,000 students in 6 cities all over the country.
To be
do
stylists
classes in
or
LA and
designers.
New York. And we really like launch careers for all of these people that want to be fashion and personal stylists. But it's like I'm always torn because I'm sitting there teaching them and really ushering them into a career that in many ways is very unhealthy.
Yeah.
It's like the hours and the food that's available, and it's just like
super
it's hard on your
taxing
body. It's extremely stressful.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, that's what they want to do, though.
Right.
So
and there is a way to do it. Like you can bring it with you. I mean, I always find that like I'll be on set and I'll pull out a green juice and kind of skip the catering, and everybody else is like, "Oh, that's interesting. Where did you get that?" Like, it's not for lack of wanting to incorporate it, but I think the production needs to catch up with how we.
I mean, that's the thing
most
too.
of us wanna
Especially, I guess I found when I was a stylist in LA. I mean, I've been eating this way for 20 years. It's not like I was eating, like Domino's pizza when I was a stylist. I would go to Erewhon and get my green juice and get, do my thing. But it's like, it's difficult, I think, probably more so in New York, where you're just like, you're running around the street and it's like, oh, there's a bodega. I might as well just have a Diet Coke because at least a few years ago, there wasn't a juice press on every corner.
Totally. I find like the prep days, I can usually eat how I want. It's more like the shoot days when you're And then you either have time to organize and make it
Right.
good or not.
I like what you said, though, that production needs to catch up, because the turnaround times on like consecutive shoot days are insane. I mean, even in Hollywood, you have union rules.
Right,
You know,
right.
you have to have, I forget what it is, but certain number of hours between. If you have like a late wrap and you go into overtime, then
Right.
they'll push the call time the next day and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's still not enough time,
Right,
to
especially when
actually
people are
like
driving
go
2
home,
hours to get
decompress,
home.
and get
Yeah.
7-8 hours of sleep. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the sleep deprivation for me is something. In the end, I was just like, I just can't do this anymore. It was 17
Yeah.
years of like
Yeah.
Yeah.
grinding, and
People
I'm
seem
someone
to
when I'm
time out
like
of it.
in work mode, I
Yeah.
really have to
Right.
come home and like have a whole winding down ritual. And so if you're
Yeah.
getting off a music video at 1 a.m. and
Yeah,
your call
insane.
time is 11 the next day, it's like still, I'm
Still
not going to go
not
to bed
that-
till 3, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So you're
So-
still working within the industry in
I do a little
capacity?
bit. So, we're a startup and
Yeah, I know how that is.
I've got like some trappings that I have to pay for.
Of course.
But Kerrilynn and I, we were friends for, since working together, and we actually had a mastermind group, like once a week we met,
Yeah.
and it was the two of us and another friend of ours who's an interior designer. And we met, and we always sort of went over business ideas and kind of coached each other. And it was sort of a way for like 3 sole proprietors to have some support. And it was during that time she had the idea for Cat Beauty, and I was like a bulldog. It's like, what's up with that natural beauty store idea? You going to do that?
Yeah.
And I just sort of wouldn't let her drop it. And
Good for you. And was
Yeah,
that something that encouraged you to follow through with it because you had this
Yeah, I mean,
accountability?
I've been in retail for so long that I think that's just honestly how my brain works.
Yeah.
And so for me, there's a store in our neighborhood that's a really fantastic beauty store, but not natural. And I used to go buy perfume there a lot. I was like the thing that I would do to actually kind of like reward myself, or if I had a good day or a bad day, it was like a price point that was kind of accessible enough. It wasn't like going to buy a big dress or a big purchase. It was like something you could leave with and feel good about. And I loved that store, and it was like this kind of touchstone for me for a place that made me feel good. And when I stopped using perfume, I was like, where is that place? Like, where's that place that actually is just the most exquisite collection of naturals and products that support this lifestyle? And I couldn't believe that it didn't exist. So I had mentioned it to Cindy during our mastermind group. Like, I wish that store existed.
she also
And-
used to constantly talk about how she would never in her life have another business partner.
True.
And so I had to crack that.
I had a previous business partner that did not end well,
Yeah.
only because we hadn't really set it up to end well. It was like there was no kind of exit plan. We were
yeah.
super young, and it didn't work, and it wasn't, through the fault of really anyone. It was just like we hadn't set it up.
How long had you two been friends before you decided to merge?
Oh, a long time.
Like 15 years?
Like
10
15
10.
Oh,
years.
cool.
15
That's a good
years.
sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had
We-
this group together, so
yeah.
we knew a lot about. We didn't officially work together, but I knew what her tendencies were, how her brain
Right.
worked.
Yeah.
She knew
And
that about
likewise,
me.
yeah.
Because, I don't know what the statistics are, but like my dad is a really successful businessman and has been forever. And he's always told me never do partnerships. They never
Yeah.
work out. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
So I was like all paranoid. I have a partner, my partner, Lauren Messiah in School of Style. And we used to be a couple for 5 years.
Wow.
And
Oh, wow.
Everyone's like, oh, that's a bad idea. You're
Yeah.
going to break up. And eventually we did break up,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But we've managed to stay
Yeah.
friends and stay doing
It's a
business
commitment.
successfully.
It's a full-blown
Yeah.
relationship.
And
I
it's
mean,
all
we're
about how
married.
you set it up.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember,
So I love when you beat the odds, and the startup thing too, whatever it is, like, 9 out of 10 startup die in the first 5 years or whatever. So when I made like the 5-year mark, I was
Yeah.
like, yes,
Yeah.
fuck
Yeah.
you guys,
Yeah.
we did it.
Totally.
Yeah,
Well, there's
totally.
always going to be advice like, oh, you shouldn't go to law school because there's too many lawyers. It's like, well, that's only good advice if you're not one of the best.
Right.
If you're, if you're
Yeah.
that committed and you're like
Right.
serious
I
about
mean, that would
succeeding.
keep us from driving every day.
Yeah.
Right.
If we were to literally base our life off of that, it's
Yeah.
like how many people are in wrecks,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
In order
so-
for you to continue to get along and sort of find your place in the organization,
Mm-hmm.
did you ever do any personality tests or assessments or anything like
wish
that
we
to
did.
determine
No.
like who was going to take on what role, or did it just
Can we
happen
do that
naturally?
now?
We should do. Well, it's kind of like our Kabbalah homework.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
we
cool.
have some homework right now that we're supposed to ask someone in our lives what we should change about ourselves.
Wow.
And I
Great
think we're-
principle.
maybe
Yeah,
we'll
we're
do that.
working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
We're-
got to be ready for the answer if you put that
Oh,
shit
yeah.
out.
I know. Big
we have to
time.
write it down and then put the piece of paper away for 2 days and then come back to it.
That's
It's called
neat.
your
Yeah.
cocoon. It's like your kind of deepest situation within you that if you change will benefit you and get you to the next level.
That's very cool.
It's really cool.
I read a book on Kabbalah years ago called Becoming Like God by Michael Berg, which was a great book.
Cool.
I read it for quite a while. Just one of those you just, spiritual books is not like a beginning, middle, end. It's
Right.
you just, I probably bust it out again soon and be like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I really liked everything in there, and it was totally in alignment with everything
Yeah.
else I've done, but I know very little of it other than that.
It's a great course.
It's pretty cool. This is our first foray into it, and one of our customers studies, and she invited us to this class, and the focus is business, but it's really like a 101.
Right.
And it's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it's definitely.
That's just an interesting practice to ask someone to honestly tell you if there's something
Big
or
time.
some personality traits or habits that you should change. That's like, I
And
like
don't you
that
wanna
someone
know?
else inventory in you.
Yeah.
Because I've done a
Totally.
lot of inventory of myself, but of course, being subjective, there's only so many things you can
Totally.
see, you know? It's
Totally.
like,
Yeah.
people always tell me, dude, you have really low self-esteem. You're so self-deprecating. You always put yourself down. I'm like, what? I think I'm awesome. You know, it's like, that's not what you're projecting, you know? It's like, wow,
Amazing.
shit, it's very cool.
Yeah,
I've done some personal development courses where this thing's been done a couple times, where you get in touch with 5 friends and email them or whatever and ask them what your top qualities are as a friend. Like, what are the
that's
best
cool.
things about you? And that's been
That's
a
a
really
more positive
That's
approach.
totally more fun.
I mean, still both are useful, I think, but it's
Yeah.
like, God, it's really nice to hear that from people, because when you're
course.
just friends with people, like my buddy Elliot's here, I go, hey man, I love you, man, but I never sit him down and go, Elliot, you know what? You're a really generous, thoughtful, kind, loving person.
He seems that way.
And he is.
He
We
really
think so
does.
too, Elliot.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
we often don't take time to really stop and really let someone
huge.
know,
Really
unless
true.
we're in a romantic relationship or something
Yeah.
like that. But just
Yeah.
the
True.
people in the periphery of our life, I don't think get that feedback, and we don't tend to get the feedback from
Right.
them, whether positive or negative. So
Yeah.
I love that.
It's
Yeah,
nice
it's
to
pretty
tell
cool.
people.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, you think like, of course Cindy knows that I feel this way about her, but if you
Right.
don't tell her, she might not.
Right.
Right.
Right?
It's true.
Like,
Yeah.
And nobody not wants to hear that.
Yeah.
So you guys haven't done the personality assessment thing. I guess knowing each other for 15 years, a lot of that was probably a given. Like, who's going to fall into what role and
We
who's
have
got
roles.
what bucket.
I mean, we
Yeah,
have
we have
titles.
titles.
Yeah.
And
Right.
but
Yeah.
we both overlap a lot. Like, you hear a lot about these partnerships, like especially in fashion, you always hear about, like, these couples
YSL.
of, one of them's the creative and the other's the business, and the creative person is probably the person whose name's on the label, and then there's this behind the scenes business partner. And it's a little different for us because we're both good at certain types of business, and we're both extremely visual, really, for lack of a better word, creatives.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
tell.
And so, but kind of in different ways. And so it's not like I'm the chief creative and Kerrilynn's the CEO, but it's not like she doesn't have an opinion about what things look like. And it's not like I don't learn that from her all the time, and vice versa.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah. I mean, we have the
Definitely.
delineation.
and we have different
and-
experience.
Yeah,
So like I know
absolutely.
more about photography, and
Yeah,
Kerrilynn knows more about retail, management, but
exactly.
we still have really valuable input in each other's domains, and we're both really interested in the other person's.
We respect each other so much, I
Yeah.
think, on all levels. That was the big thing, like, when I decided after Cindy had, like, said she wanted to do it. It was like I wanted CAP to be huge in a way that I could not do on my own, or that I would want to do on my own. I wanted to experience it with somebody that I love so much and trust so much and value her opinion so much, and that person was absolutely Cindy.
That's awesome.
so
Good
it was
for you.
definitely-
I totally relate to that.
Yeah.
And also, I think, in my experience too, I'm 46. I've gotten to know there's things that in a business that I either suck at
Yeah.
or
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just not passionate about enough
Yeah.
to get good at it in
Yeah,
some cases,
totally,
and it's
totally.
like,
It's
that's
great
the
to
great
know
thing
that.
about having a partner is like my partner, Lauren, she's good at so many things that I'm not, and vice versa.
Yep.
And we love not trying to be good at the things that we're not,
Totally.
Yeah.
don't have aptitude in.
Totally.
And one of the personality tests, you guys, it sounds like you're doing fine, but just out of curiosity, if
Yeah.
you're interested, it's like a little $20 book. It's called Strengths Finders 2.0.
Oh, I did that
Yeah,
years
what's that
ago.
with
It's
Rosie?
really,
We had a coach that both of us had
Oh, you
separate
did?
from each other that
Yeah.
I found out about,
Like
through Cindy.
A long time ago.
Really long time ago. And she had us do the Strength Finders.
yeah, it's
I
pretty
don't
cool.
remember what
Yeah.
it was.
We'll put it in the show
I don't
notes, and
either.
those of you
Okay.
listening,
It was,
you
it's
get
a great
the show
little
notes.
test.
Cool,
That
yeah.
assessment's cool.
Yeah, it's very accurate. Like any person I've
Yeah.
ever given it to is like, oh my God, they're really reading my email.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, it's very simple. And I think what I really like about it is the whole purpose of it is to not be like, oh, here's the things you're not good at. It's to be like, here's the things you kick ass at.
Yeah.
Just do those.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it was like, Luke, don't try to be a mathematician. Like, that shit is never going to happen.
Yep.
But I'm like, empathy is one of my top ones. So I'm really good at getting along with people and getting to know people. And what a great skill to have as a podcaster.
And a teacher.
Totally.
Yeah, and as a teacher.
as
So
a
all
teacher.
of mine were like, oh, this is cool. So what I've done is like systematically outsourced everything that's not part of my top 5.
Yeah.
Super
And my
smart.
partner's
Really smart.
top 5,
Let's do it.
Lauren's top 5 are polar opposite. So there's
Interesting.
like this perfect mesh once you sort of, communicate what they are and learn the other person.
yeah.
And it's also great for lowering or managing your expectations on other people too. Because I think
That's an
sometimes we want
interesting
other
idea.
people to be like us. I'm like, well, I'm good at going out and just cold calling people and meeting people, and why don't you just do that? You're going to this party, cool, bring back some business cards. And
Yeah.
like my
Right.
partner's like, ugh, gross, I'm not talking to people.
Right.
Yeah.
Ugh, I can't stand that. I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Just go up and say hi. What's the big deal? They're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's terrifying, or I just don't, that's not my vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been cool to explore
and
that
it's
for
good
myself.
to like be okay enough with your ego to know that you actually don't have to be good at everything.
Exactly.
Right? I think like
Yeah.
for so long,
Yeah, it's like a relief.
it's like easy to think I should be good at everything, right? Like we're in such a drive world that it's like I should be okay. I should be able to learn. I should be better at this. But to
Yeah.
actually focus in and really hone those things that you're excellent at, that's I think where magic starts to kind of happen.
It does, yeah, because
know?
it takes away that, for me, that sense of shame of like beating my head against the wall and like, God, why can't, like for me, it's like time management.
Yeah.
Like scheduling stuff
Yeah.
is really challenging.
Yeah.
You should get
And
a
when I do
scheduler.
it poorly, I
Yeah.
feel bad about myself,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So like, that's one of the things I hired out. Like Tati, who is going to be listening to this, and I love her. She lives in Hawaii and she's like the show producer, and
Awesome.
she's like my babysitter because
Yeah.
I need that. And I used
Yeah.
to feel like low about myself for needing a babysitter and like
Right.
a
Yeah.
handler. You know what I mean?
We have that person as well.
Yeah, we
His name
have
is
Michael.
Michael.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Michael, okay, he's been
Michael
he's been
coordinated
very
this.
Thanks,
helpful.
Michael.
Yeah.
We probably wouldn't be here if it weren't
Yeah.
for Michael.
Yeah.
So yeah,
'Cause then it's
and
like,
he's great
cool.
at it. And
Yeah. It also
we're
takes a
bad
lot
at
of
it.
time.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Right.
would spend half of our days like re-entering
Shifting.
things in the calendar if
Yeah.
Yeah.
he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So isn't that great? You
Yeah.
realize like, oh, there's someone who's just born to do that and loves
Yeah.
it and is passionate
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's give them money and they can
Totally.
handle that.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay,
Michael.
so back to Cap Beauty. So
Yeah.
Cap stands for, it's a great name, by the way, great
Thank
logo.
you.
I love your branding, as I said. So it stands for clean and pure.
It
sort of does.
It actually, Kerrilynn's store was called Castor and Pollux.
Ah,
And it
okay,
sort of
okay.
is more born from that.
So it's
Yeah,
a little
It's
bit
kind of a
carryover.
coincidence
That.
that it's also happens to stand for clean and pure, although that doesn't totally feel so on brand to us. It's
Yeah.
like we actually don't spend that much time talking about clean versus dirty
Right,
in products.
right.
It's like
Yeah.
it's just a given that everything we sell is natural. Now let's talk about what works really well and
Right.
why.
Yeah.
But clean and pure for sure, it happens to stand for that too. And then my husband, who's from Paris, pointed out that Cap is also like destination in
Oh,
French.
cool.
So like Cap d'Antibes or Cap Nord. So Cap Beauty
Or
is
Cap Beauty.
that kind of works for
Awesome.
them
Well,
as well.
I think for me it has a connotation like being the top too. It's like
Yeah.
you like
yeah,
have
yeah.
a
Cap
cap
it
on
off.
something.
Totally.
It's like
It
you have
also
a
makes
lid on it. You
amazing
have a
puns.
handle on it.
The
so-
puns that come out of Cap
Yeah.
are remarkable
Yeah,
too.
it's a
and
great
we're
name.
big on
You just
puns.
reminded me of something when I was a teenager. We used to be like, if you made fun of someone, it was like capping on them. Do you guys remember that?
Oh.
Dude, don't
I
cap
don't know
on my
about
shoes.
that.
Yeah, you'd be like, dude, those shoes are
was
whack.
a
Don't
Bay
cap
Area
on them.
thing.
Is that a Bay
I totally
Area
forgot
thing?
about that slang term.
We might
All
have
right,
to
so
bring that back.
so in the boutique, you also have a spa as well.
We do.
Right?
We do. We have
Yeah.
What
treatment
goes
rooms.
on in there? Like what kind of?
Heaven.
It's pretty amazing.
Is it only for women?
We have
No.
no.
Oh, really?
Not at
Yeah.
all.
But,
I don't
oh,
even
so-
know what a dude does at a spa.
You have a lot of facial hair.
Yeah,
you would
the
get a
beard
facial
thing,
up here.
The beard thing has not been great for
No.
men in the spa, but
Yeah.
we had a couple. We've had guys with beards,
But we do acupuncture as well.
Wow.
And we also
Yeah.
have a really fun program that we just started in October called the Cap Healing Artist in Residency. And so that's like modalities that are a little bit more out there, more obscure stuff that you'd
Yeah.
be super psyched about.
Yeah, we've done
Um,
hypnosis, we've done CBD oil massage,
Past
we've done
life regression therapy.
myofascial
Wow.
release. Yeah,
There's
Oh my
cool
God.
stuff that
Cool.
happens back there. And those are just people that we are so fortunate to have kind of in our network that we can call up and be like, do you want to be
The
with us
resident.
for like
Yeah.
a month and a half?
So you have like a residency of someone who
Exactly.
does some sort of alternative medicine
Exactly.
modality or healing modality.
Yeah,
or
like we
something.
went to a mineral meditation this morning and talked with the really beautiful woman who ran it. and kind of guided us through it and talked about her being the possibly one in the summer. So there's
Rad.
definitely like it leaves a lot of room for us for discovery, really, to like, what are we into right now? We have this beautiful space that somebody can use and we can share with our clients and customers.
Cool. And
But
then
it's primarily facials, I'd say.
Okay.
And our facials are, there's no machines. It's all based on massage. A woman named Christina Holy developed our protocol.
Out of the Bay Area.
Yeah,
she's out
from
there.
she's from Oakland, or
Yeah.
she's from Santa Barbara, but she lives in Oakland now.
Yeah.
And she studied in Paris with Joel Kiocho, who's this sort of master of facial massage. And the idea is that this kind of manipulation does everything. Like it purifies, it lifts, it tones, it produces
Oxygenates.
collagen and oxygenates,
Yeah.
and with the right product combination and massage, just it's like a pre-party facial. It's like you leave looking so radiant. And
Yeah.
That's
it's,
awesome.
It's
Yeah,
an
it's pretty
exquisite
great.
treatment.
And it feels great.
Yeah.
So you're not getting poked and
It's not the kind of treatment you leave and you have to go into hibernation for a couple days.
Yeah,
Right, because
totally.
of the
recovery
I've seen that. I've
time.
seen
Yeah.
on women. They're like, oh, let's go to lunch or whatever. Like, no, I can't. I just had a facial. I'm out for
Right.
3 days. I'm like, what? Did they put a sandblaster on your face? Like,
Sometimes they do.
basically,
Yeah,
yeah.
basically
Yeah.
they do sometimes. And
Ours
so,
are gorgeous.
yeah,
They're
and it's
just-
also, one of the concerns now, I think, is like a lot of people are doing too much to strip away their skin, and the microbiome is really important,
Yeah,
and that
I
lives
know.
on your
That weirds
skin,
me
and
out.
so we need to be nourishing that and not stripping it away.
Yeah.
Which isn't to say that's like you can do some exfoliation, but you got to be careful of that. It shouldn't shouldn't be too aggressive with it.
Like, what's up
So-
with these, like, what are they, like, laser peels and
Oh,
stuff?
yeah.
That does
All
not
that stuff is
sound
killing,
healthy.
Yeah.
killing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so the spa.
I mean, it
is
works
great.
for clearing the skin, right? Like it's taking off a layer,
Right.
but over time, it doesn't have a huge longevity.
Okay.
You keep doing that, you keep doing that. It's like a floor. You're going to keep sanding and sanding and sanding. And you're going to get to a really vulnerable part. And that's oftentimes when you see people with skin that looks kind of taut and tight and almost like waxy. That's literally just like kind of layers that have, been pulled down.
I
we don't
I
wanna
do a
do-
lot of things that are unnatural in terms of just, alternative medicine and stuff like that. Because I'm always talking, you got to be in alignment with nature. And then people are
Yeah.
like, dude, a bunch of stuff you do is not natural, like cryotherapy,
Right,
for
or
example.
like a colonic.
It's like,
or-
well, it's not natural, but I don't have time to go to Alaska in January
Totally.
to have that
Yeah, yeah,
experience,
totally.
So it's not natural,
And-
but it's mimicking
Right.
nature.
And there's a
so-
lot in our environment that we're dealing with that's not natural. So
Exactly.
it's like
That's
maybe if
my
I
defense.
lived
Yeah.
back in the day, I wouldn't need to go have a colonic, but guess
Yeah.
what?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, like, I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff, but that's always my defense. I'm like, do you know how many, like, if you had an EMF meter right here, you know how many cell towers and
Oh, man.
Wi-Fi signals and shit
Yeah.
would be picking up? So that's not natural. There's no going natural
Yeah.
anywhere. I
Right.
think if you even went to Alaska, you'd be like next to the HARP facility or
Yeah,
some
yeah.
shit. It's like,
For sure.
there's no going back to a totally natural world because
Yeah.
it doesn't exist
No,
anymore.
of course not.
Yeah.
Okay, so tangent. What about in the boutique? You guys also sell supplements because I'm getting
Yeah.
that this is a whole lifestyle thing.
For
not just
sure.
like, oh, here's some nice lotion. Buy. It's
Yeah.
really
No,
like
it's very, our
indoctrinating
superfood
people.
section is huge.
Yeah.
We started, so we launched online before we had the store just because of timing and building. And we had like a couple things from Sun Potion. We had this great product from Australia called the Beauty Chef. Glow is the main product. A few other things. Honey,
Yeah.
of course, is like
Yeah.
topical and ingestible. And the response was so huge that we just kept growing. And it really was like not only something that we're really interested in, but also just our customers kept wanting more. So
They
now
saw
we have a
results with
pretty-
it.
We have a pretty big
Yeah.
section. Scott and Nitza from Sun Potion did an event in our store, I think 2 days after we
Yeah.
opened. It was like,
The 16th of February, and we opened on the 14th, and
Yeah.
literally the store was packed.
like 60
With
or
people.
70 people
Yeah.
there to hear about adaptogens when it was like we didn't know anyone even knew we were open.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
That's so
really
cool.
cool.
That's a good sign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really good
Culturally,
sign.
that's
Yeah.
cool. So what what are some of the favorite supplements that you guys like to turn people on to?
We have a lot of new
Or just
ones too
herbs
that are
and
really
all that
great.
kind of stuff.
So we have a lot of herbs. We have a lot of course, like a lot of Sun Potion. We have a lot of moon juice stuff. But some of the new ones that we're really into, there's a line called Stamba that does these beautiful like synergistic blends. He has both a powder and some pills.
Mm-hmm. He's out of New York. His name's Asa. He's great.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Really knowledgeable. Really high quality ingredients.
Yeah.
Dr. Cowan, we have really,
Yeah,
really
do you know
great.
that stuff?
Yeah.
No,
feel
I
like
don't.
you'd like
it's
it a
kind
lot.
of amazing.
Yeah.
And I think it's a nice thing also for people to dip into if they're a little apprehensive about herbs. His concept is just like really nutritionally dense vegetable powders. So it's like a teaspoon of kale powder that you can put on your salad or in your soup, and it's like eating like 3 heads of kale.
Wow.
And it tastes good, and it's basically like making your food really nutrient dense, which is great.
Oh, cool. So
Like
kind
at
of
every turn.
add-ons, almost like, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or like seasonings that are just super
Right,
healthy.
right.
I mean, a lot of seasonings are anyway, but not all of them.
Yeah.
That's cool. That
Yeah.
sounds interesting. Yeah,
So those are
I've
cool.
used things like spirulina and stuff like that in a
Yeah.
similar way, but like the taste is not always that great.
Yeah,
You know?
not
Yeah.
always.
The
Sometimes
spirulina
it's
is
good.
kind of like
You can
fish
make it
scale
good.
powder or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's a
Yeah.
little funky.
Yeah, totally.
So
Yeah, the
that's
food
cool.
component's really important to us. We're actually launching a CBD oil that will be CBD oil infused into coconut with 5 different adaptogenic herbs in it.
Wow.
So that's
awesome.
something that you'll utilize, like really in your kitchen more than a supplement. It'll be something you'll put on, a salad or avocado toast or in your smoothie, and we want people to be taking it as a daily thing.
It's really delicious too. It
It's-
tastes kind of nutty. It's
yeah,
really good.
and it's called the Daily Hit, and that launches, I think, next month. We're doing that with friends of ours who have a really great CBD line called Apothecana.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So we're trying, like the food part is really, really big for us. Like Cindy said, we sell tons of the Moon Juice snacks. The food part's so big for us, we actually want to open a grocery at some point. Like we really want to have like a standalone store where it's
Yeah.
just all the most beautiful products for high vibrational living.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's very needed because
Yeah.
a lot of health food stores. I mean, you just think about Whole Foods and like, thank God, I never would like bag on Whole
Totally.
Foods.
Yeah.
It's
Totally.
amazing that they exist in so
Yeah,
many
yeah.
places now. It's very cool.
It's true.
But I sometimes refer to it as canola foods. It's like there's
Yeah.
a lot of nasty
Yeah.
stuff in there that's
Yeah.
like not
True.
It's pretty
healthy
diluted.
at
I
all.
have to say,
you know,
especially
so-
in the beauty aisle, I think
Yeah.
it's like a little surprising to me what they let in there.
yeah,
They're
But-
dealing with a lot of customers.
Yeah.
So they're
also
trying
dealing
to
with the price
catch
point.
a
I mean,
huge
people walk
group.
into Cat Beauty and they're not expecting something to be less than $20. But when you're shopping in the grocery store and picking up a deodorant, you're actually expecting it to be $3.99. And it is hard to make certain types of products without any synthetics
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah, I mean
at
that's
that
the thing.
level.
Like I say, I love Whole Foods and all that,
Yeah.
but I would like to be able to go into a health food store or like a tiny shop that's very well curated.
Yeah.
and there's just no shit in there that you have to weed through.
Yeah.
That
Like
was
I-
our whole intention when opening.
Yeah, it's
like we
cool.
are 100% synthetic free, which is really unusual in this kind of category of naturals. And that was a really big decision we made where there's a lot of lines we don't carry because we can't. Like we like their product, but they'll have like 0.0001% synthetic in it. We don't carry it because of that. So for us, the choice to have it be a place where people could come in and shop completely aware that everything had already been vetted prior to them being in there was really important.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
You know.
Because also then it's sort of like you whittle down the funnel of customers
Yeah.
to the people that are very discerning and, unfortunately the people that can afford it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. And
But
we try really
mean-
hard to have something for everyone with
Yeah.
price
Yeah.
point and everything. And I think we do a pretty good job of it. We also happen to be in a very wealthy neighborhood in New York City where
Yeah, the
people
West
do
Village is
want
nothing to shake a stick at.
people
Yeah.
do want the expensive stuff we sell,
Yeah.
but we are really, really, it's really important to us to be inclusive and to make sure that there is something for everyone. And
Yeah.
I think that's why we do events in the store a lot, and like the Sun Potion event, and they're always free. And we always make sure that, it's just an open door policy. We don't limit who can come. We don't charge anything for them. And that's another way where it's like, you can be in our world. You can step in and you can get the information and you can make things yourself, and you can, there's lots of ways to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Whether
we
or not
do
you're
not
buying.
believe in exclusivity at all.
No.
Like for us,
Yeah.
these are products that are oriented towards people's health, and certain people shouldn't have access to them and others shouldn't. You know,
Yeah.
it just doesn't
Totally.
make any
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
It's like
It was actually
everyone.
a big question when we first opened. The press would always say, so what do you have that's exclusively yours? It was like, we don't do that. We
Yeah.
don't ask our vendors not to sell to other people because we want this whole world to explode.
Yeah.
We want everybody to have access to these products, and
yeah,
it'll just help us when, there's brands like Goop, and it's like we could see them as a competitor or we could see them as another mouthpiece for spreading the word.
Yeah, I guess that's the attitude you have when you don't have scarcity thinking.
Right.
When
Yeah.
you believe that there's this abundant universe that
Totally.
has enough for everyone,
Yeah,
which
there
Yeah.
is.
unfortunately a lot of humans aren't able to grasp that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
and
like,
we
I
want to
was
be the
just-
best at it. I mean, we want
Oh,
people
yeah.
to come to us. We want to stay on our toes. We want to always be doing, research and getting like the best products in, so people want to come to us. But we want everyone to come to us.
For sure.
Yeah,
And
not just an
also,
exclusive few.
it's like during with price points and stuff, if something works, and also if something works, people are going to come back to it. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the way I am. It's like, I don't
For
want to
sure.
blow money. I wish I could just go to Ralph's and buy my groceries and like
Yeah.
get out of there for $100 or something instead
Yeah.
of going to Erewhon and spending $400.
Right.
But it works and I get results. So it's like I make other sacrifices
Of course.
so that I can
Totally.
afford that.
Totally.
Yeah,
And
we pick
especially
and
just
choose.
with like personal care products. I think the stuff I buy, even though it's pretty expensive, just, lotions, creams, whatever, toothpaste, all that kind of stuff, it's more expensive, but it actually lasts me a lot longer because it's so
Sure.
high quality and so
course.
potent. Like I buy a toothpaste from, oh God, she was on my show. I should totally remember this. It's like MCT oil toothpaste. Oh, The
Oh.
Dirt. It's made by The Dirt.
I
Yeah.
listened to that show. I want to try
It's
that toothpaste.
oh, it's
yeah.
you can try some
Yeah.
here. You can actually eat it. I mean, like you could just have a snack
go
of my
brush my teeth
toothpaste.
now.
Yeah.
But it's like $25 for a little tube, and
Yeah.
my friends are like, "Oh, bro, you could get Crest for $2." I'm like, "Yeah, but I literally only need like not even a pea size, like
Yeah.
a small, like a pomegranate
Yeah,
kernel
Yeah, like a chia
size or a piece
seed.
of corn size, and that's too much toothpaste to brush your teeth."
Yeah.
Right.
And then I'll put like some clove oil on there. So I have my little formulas, but I'm like,
Yeah.
that thing will last me for months.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the long-term
Because-
approach is a different approach.
Yeah, and then you look
right?
at like a Crest, and it's all watery. It's mostly water. There's
Yeah,
nothing
right.
like in there. Not
Yeah,
to
and
mention
filler.
there's, fluoride and
Yeah.
all kinds of other nasties.
Yeah.
So what about because I want to cover more of the lifestyle stuff with you too,
Yeah.
because I love geeking out with
Yeah, yeah.
like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of making your home healthy, plants, how you deal with your air, how you deal with the water in your home,
Yeah.
cookware, what are you guys
Yeah.
up to in terms of your recommendations in that area?
We have a really great water filter from our store that we love. It's called the Walter, and it's this woman named Cassie Griffin, who's a ceramicist, who does these beautiful, you would love them, they're these beautiful ceramic vessels, and she uses a Berkey inside of that. So it's a Berkey
dope.
water
Berkeys are
filter.
great
Beautiful.
filters,
And we
yeah.
had her do a custom finish on it for us. So it's got like these black, almost like brush stroke, like Japanese style brush stroke on it. We use that in our kitchen. I don't know what our cookware is great, but it's just I guess it's all clad, like really nice, gorgeous cookware that I've had forever. We have tons of plants. My husband's obsessed with plants, so he's kind of the caretaker of the plant
He's the
world
steward
in
of
our
the
house.
plants? He's
Yeah,
got the green
is.
thumb?
He's there. Yeah, he does. He's really into it.
You're fortunate. It's
Yeah.
really, it took me, like all these years to keep plants alive. Like I've done pretty well. This one here,
This one's beautiful.
like usually these have a lot of dead leaves. I don't even know what these are called.
It's a fig tree.
it's a fig tree.
Fig tree, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I never even get dead leaves. I'm doing
It's
something
great,
right.
yeah.
Maybe
It's
it's the
great.
light
Just
there.
the right. Yeah.
But I really, really try not to kill plants.
Yeah.
And it took me years. So you're fortunate enough to have
Yeah,
someone in
I'm
the family
lucky.
that's
He's
on
great
that.
at it. And then we have a dog. I feel like a dog is such some animal. Another beings in the space is really important.
Yeah, I need to get a dog.
You need a dog.
You should get a dog.
I had a dog with my ex-girlfriend, and then I lost him in the breakup.
Custody
I mean,
battle.
it was her dog,
Yeah.
But
Well, there's
I
lots
still-
out there.
I still get to see him, but sometimes I think about that, but I'm like, oh man, but then I have to take care of it.
I know.
Am I still too selfish to have a dog? Or
I
just
bet you could get a little
spontaneous
one
and
that you just carry around.
carefree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so the dog, and then what else?
What else do I have? I think more than anything, it's just like the intention behind our house. It feels really loved. We live with a lot of antiques from my family. There's always really beautiful incense burning. The windows are more often than not open, just like getting air in there. Our water filter is great. The animal. Yeah,
We're both pretty into home and
Yeah.
interiors, and I think there's also a sense of like the intentionality behind what's in your house and just like KonMari.
Yeah, we
It's a
love
big deal. We
KonMari.
both like to edit and keep things moving when when it doesn't serve you, move it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
I'm a constant
Yeah.
editor.
Yeah.
Like I love when my husband's out of town. I can just like edit stuff out of the house.
Oh
in a
yeah.
way that-
Yeah, we have to do that behind their back
Yeah.
sometimes,
But I mean, my home's really important to me. I love being in my home. It feels really great, and I think just like being there and appreciating it is really a huge part of it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And like we have, you walk in the bathroom and it's like filled with all these
Oh, yeah.
gorgeous divine
The
botanicals that are just like vibrating. They're, they kind of have their own life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crystals.
Oh yes, the
Gotta have
crystals.
crystals.
Yeah, lots of crystals
Yeah.
around.
I've
What do
always
we have
wanted
around?
those. What are the purple ones? You know.
Big amethyst.
Oh, the
Yeah, with like
amethyst.
the,
Yeah,
they're
with the
black on
cup.
the back.
Yeah, yeah.
I've always
Those are-
wanted to get like the a 4-foot tall one on each
Yeah.
nightstand.
Yeah.
Just like
should
blast
do
my
it.
head, you
Yeah.
know, between.
Big time.
Totally.
Yeah, every time I see
should
one
do
of those, I'm like, oh, cool, I'll go get one of those, and then they're like $2,000 or
Yeah.
something. You
Yeah.
know, they're really expensive, but I love that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have rose quartz under the floors at the store. We
Really?
actually, when
Yeah.
when we laid the floors, we literally threw rose quartz under them. And then when we built a foundation underneath the store for our staircase, when we actually were pouring the concrete, we weren't pouring the concrete. We were tossing the rose quartz into it, and our contractors are pouring the concrete.
Yeah.
And it feels so good in there.
Yeah.
Like,
People walk in and it's like, I feel so good in here.
yeah,
It's like,
even
Wow.
non-believers. Like, we have
Yeah.
these very old school Italian landlords who don't think we're like just like hawking just total madness next door. They don't even know what we're doing.
Right.
And they come in and they're like, this place feels really good. And we're like, it's the rose quartz.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think
I
it's
would-
also the products. Like,
I'd
Yeah.
love
there's
to
a-
see the
different
expression
vibe.
on the construction workers who are pouring the concrete, and you're like,
They were
wait,
into
wait.
it. They were
Oh, they
so
were?
into
They
it.
were
And
digging it?
a lot of
Totally
them
into
didn't
it.
speak much English. They're all Chinese, and one of them asked us to write it down for him so he could look it up. And then they did something which
This was great.
before they painted and put up all of our shelving. They all wrote in Chinese characters. What did they write? Health, joy, money,
prosperity.
happiness, prosperity.
And prosperity and love.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys
So-
had some pretty zen contractors.
When we
They were pretty
painted,
cool.
literally it's behind our paint.
wow,
Like they wrote it on the wall for us in huge Chinese characters.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And then they
pretty
like
great.
revealed it to us. It was pretty amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
They were great.
Yeah, I think that's
were
the kind of
great.
thing. It's like if you're working on a project that's really, really like has big intentions behind it. They were kind of amused by it, but I think they were into it too.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
I think it probably made their day. Like going home and being like, these crazy women. I had to put this stuff under the floor, but then I decided to write on the wall in addition to it.
Yeah.
you know.
That's
so,
cool. So
yeah,
you caught them
they
up in the
joined
spirit
in.
of
Yep.
it.
Yeah. In
So-
your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a different water filter situation. I use this guy. He's a little crazy, but his
not
water
watching.
filters are pretty amazing. His company's called Custom Air and Water, and he does a pretty hardcore like under sink filter, which we use, and
And at the store in the office.
we have those at the
Yeah.
store as well. What
In the
else do I
office.
do? I have 2-legged pets. I have children,
Yeah.
which
How many kids?
I have 2.
Yeah.
They're amazing. They're really great, and my husband, and
The other two-legged pet.
no, he's the daddy.
Do you all
Um,
do anything with in terms of like optimizing the lighting? So I don't know if you know about the whole blue light thing at night and LED lights
I'm-
being bad for you. There's
yeah,
like a lot of I've tweaked the lighting in this place so
Have
at
you?
night it looks like dusk when it's dusk and it gets pretty dark when it's dark.
Yeah.
Have you experimented at
No.
all
Our
with that?
house is always kind of dark, to be honest.
It's just
Like,
your vibe anyway.
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
Yeah.
Like I Skype with a therapist, and whenever we're Skyping, it looks like I'm literally in like a black hole.
Right, right.
Like she's in LA and she's like backlit, but our house is always kind of subdued. Like I'm always
Yeah.
buying like the lowest wattage light bulb there is. So I think I
Right.
Yeah.
intuitively do that, but I don't
Yeah.
intentionally.
It's an aesthetic
do
thing
that.
too. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
For
Totally.
sure. Yeah, I don't know. New York City, man, is like, I go there a lot with my school, I guess less this year, maybe twice this year, but it used to be like 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah.
And I'd stay for a couple weeks at a time.
Yeah.
And just like
It's for real.
the noise
The
and
noise.
the EMFs and like every hotel or Airbnb, like I couldn't black out the curtains. So
Yeah.
I'd have to go to CVS and buy tin foil and like crack house out all the fucking windows. And like,
Amazing.
it's just like, especially when I first started going, because the only organic food at that time, this is like 2009 maybe, like the only organic food I could find was vegan food, and
Right.
it didn't really work for me because it's all full of soy and
Yep.
Yeah.
weed and corn
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
that doesn't really work with my body.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then finally the juice press opened,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like the first one
That's
on
a
like
game
First
changer.
and Houston.
First and First. Yeah.
Yeah, First and First.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God,
They're
I
great
found
over
that
there. I
place.
love those
And
guys.
They're great.
Every
I've been
time
going
I
there a
go
bunch
back,
recently.
it was a little easier, but still just environmentally, all the EMFs, like I've had situations where I get a beautiful Airbnb, like I just got one last time in Chelsea, huge 1-bedroom, old building, and it was really affordable, especially compared to like a hotel of that
Yeah.
Yeah,
equivalent.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is great. And I get all my stuff unpacked. I'm vibing it out. I light the candles, light the incense. And then I open the curtain and I look across, and like the building right across the street is like a wall of cell towers just like pointed like right into my bedroom, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit,
It's
no
tricky
refunds.
in New York.
It's tricky.
It's tricky.
It's dense. It's dense living. It's,
Yeah.
where
It
like
is.
everyone's on top of each other. You have to kind of have your like blinders up and just. It's
we
like
get here and
staring
we
at
just
the jade
can't
plant.
believe how much space there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Physical and just kind of like energetically. It just
Do
feels
you
really different.
ever plan on moving out of the city, like moving upstate or get a place out here or something like that? Or are you pretty hardcore?
We want to move out here.
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
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 It's a little easier on
I
the
like
biology.
upstate, but the West Coast is, as I said, it
I'm
rhymes
with
with
you.
best and
Yeah.
East rhymes with least.
Hey,
So-
upstate New York's cool, but go to Big Sur and then talk to me about upstate New
That's
York.
what I always say. I always say that too.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's our upstate.
it's like
you know,
yeah,
it's
I
it
know.
is beautiful upstate.
No, I
and
know.
It's, and
I'm
it's
just
great that
playing.
we can go there. It's
Oh my
great that we
God.
can like get in
We're
the car and
totally
drive
with
out of
you.
the
Totally.
city.
No,
But
it's beautiful.
Not,
I'm just
It's
playing.
not the same.
I'm just playing. I'm
Yeah.
doing like a New York versus LA thing, East Coast versus West Coast.
We want to be here as soon
Also,
as we
there's no
possibly
Erewhon
can.
upstate
right.
Or
I
in
mean-
New York City.
or in New York
Yeah.
City.
Not even close.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
that's reason to move here
Totally.
Yeah.
right there.
Well, maybe you guys can make your own specialized, very carefully curated version of Erewhon where
Totally.
a discerning customer can go in there and really know
Oh,
like
yeah.
every single supplement or food item has
Yeah.
absolutely been vetted and
Yeah.
on point.
Yeah.
Like there is one restaurant there now. It's on like it's over by Parsons, like kind of by Union Square. Always
Who
forget the
Kitchen?
street.
Who?
Yeah, Who Kitchen.
Food
Yeah.
Kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
that's
use
right
our-
near Cindy's.
They use my water filter guy too.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. But
Yeah.
I walked by that place one day and it was like no grains, no
Yeah,
canola
yeah.
oil. I was like,
Yeah,
what? This
it's
is
pretty
amazing.
great.
Paleo
It's pretty
heavy.
great.
Yeah.
To
Yeah,
have
so
that
you
there.
kind of
And
know
it's,
walking in there, it's like it's pretty legit. Like
Yeah, it
all
is.
organic and like no weird vegetable oils and all
Yeah,
that kind of
I
stuff.
get
No
juices there a lot
refined
and-
sugar.
Right.
Yeah.
It's even like a lot of the health food places still, it's like,
There's a phenomenon, and I feel like we noticed it in San Francisco too, but there's this phenomenon that artisanal is the same as wellness,
Yeah.
and it's not. And it's sort of and it's probably true that it's better. Like it's better if your chicken was raised with love and grass or whatever
Yeah.
chickens eat, but it's not. It's not
Do
the
they eat?
same. Like cheese made from a cow that ate grass. Sure, that's probably better than a factory farm cheese, but it's still
They're just different.
it's still a different food than
Yeah. Than health
vegetables.
food. Yeah.
yeah, totally.
You know.
Yeah.
So I want to get into the cosmetics, the personal care products and things like that, and maybe give some people some education on why what they're using might not be optimal. Because I still find a lot of people are very unaware of some basic things, like, for example, just deodorant that you get at the drugstore.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll see
Yeah.
people still using them. I'm like, you didn't hear, like in 98, like we all
Yeah.
found out that shit has
Yeah,
aluminum in it, and
right,
especially
yeah.
for women,
Yeah.
it's like bad
That's an
news,
interesting
so-
one. Deodorant was one of the first products we decided we wanted to make, and it's actually we're still developing a deodorant. And one of the reasons we wanted to make a deodorant was that it seemed like that was one of the products that most people know they should be using a better version of. Like
right, because that information's kind of come out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
it's
even
pretty-
like worse antiperspirants. Like,
Yeah. Right.
nature designed you to sweat. Like,
right.
you don't want to
like,
stop
this
that.
is a detox organ.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So
But,
what's your current solution, or just both of you personally? I use like essential oils from Living Libations, and
And that
again,
works
it's one of
well
those
for
things.
you?
It's a little vial's like $45,
Yep.
but it lasts months, and
Yep.
right.
it doesn't. I don't know. It just works well with my body. Mine's, I think,
Yeah.
the Palo Santo one, and
Yeah.
it's like people are always like, oh, what's that oil you're wearing? I'm like, I'm not wearing any oils. I go, oh yeah,
Oh,
it's
right.
actually my gross armpits you're smelling, and you
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's amazing.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, wow, it's
just-
like I'm
we-
like pheromone bombing everyone, and they're actually enjoying it.
That's
It's really
good.
weird.
That's
so
the point of pheromones.
what have you discovered in terms of the deodorant solution?
Deodorants.
We're just testing ours
Well,
right
we've
now.
been
to be
testing
honest.
ours
You are?
just
For a while.
But there's
almost a
also
year.
other, like Mother Dirt is a probiotic mist that it's a AO ammonia oxide.
ammonia oxidized
It's
bacteria.
it's a bacteria that used to live on everyone's skin that
Yeah.
no longer does. And there's a company are they based in
Boston.
Boston?
Yeah.
They're based in Boston.
yeah.
And I think they're a much larger, like biotech kind of company, but they've made this bacteria available as a product, which is a mist, and it exist on the skin anymore because of all the environmental, and a lot of it, the reason is because of all the preservatives, which are designed to kill bacteria.
Yeah.
So every kind of regular product that somebody uses that has a paraben or phenoxyethanol in it, any of those antibacterials that are in a lot of products are going to kill that microbiome. And so this bacteria, a lot of people have had success using it in place of deodorant.
That's interesting.
But you can't use it and use a product that has preservatives or,
sometimes essential oils too.
Yes, a certain
Really?
essential oils.
Yeah. So it can be challenging. It also needs to be refrigerated.
Yeah. So it's
So it's like a more
solution.
complex kind
that's
of
a
solution.
tougher sell for someone.
Yeah, it's a really cool product though. The guy who developed it, he's like a crazy scientist.
Yeah.
And he literally has not taken a shower, like in the name of his project, for 13 years.
Or submerged himself in water at all.
Like not even
he
the
hasn't gone
ocean.
swimming. He hasn't.
Nothing.
Is he trying to like grow a natural
He's
human
basically trying to
skin
create the
microbiome?
his perfect microbiome, what he considers to be a perfect microbiome that hasn't been interrupted by external kind of products that he's putting on his skin.
Right.
And studying that. And so he's been studying that and then realized he was having really great luck with actually adding on the AO bacteria to his skin in terms of skin health and kind of skin general like vitality and radiance, and then also smell for deodorant.
Right.
That's crazy.
So we sell that as a deodorant right now, but like we said, it's to a very specific consumer.
Yeah.
Right.
And people use it for different things too.
So does
like people
that
have tried it for
bacteria then
eczema.
eat the gross smelly bacteria under your arm?
Yeah.
That's
It's kind of
tr-
the same
it-
concept
it's like
as probiotics.
It's like the
right?
alpha bacteria that's
Yeah.
like, oh, get out of here, guys.
Right. It's
I smell
like
better.
probiotics. It's like you add the good to kind of
Right.
keep the bad in check. And they
And they like
actually
to not say that there's
they
no
don't
good
like
and
good
bad
and bad.
bacteria.
They just
okay.
say it's about a certain balance of bacteria.
Yeah,
Like
you need both.
whichever one is out of balance is bad.
Yeah.
I like that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
there's not
interesting.
one evil bacteria.
I haven't thought about that. The preservatives that are made to kill things that grow in your lotion, for example. I never thought about
They're not
putting
super
those preservatives
intelligent.
on. They're killing
right?
everything
They're
on
killing
you.
Right,
everything.
it's-
It's the same thing as like taking an antibiotic.
Right.
Like it goes in and it gets rid of the quote unquote bad that's existing in your body, but it doesn't have the ability to identify the good, so it wipes everything.
Right.
That's why you
Right.
more often than not should, be repopulating with the, for lack of a better word, good.
Yeah.
And then what about some other products? Like one that always scares me would be, and it might not even be something you guys carry, but I just want to see how you feel about it, if you have any ideas. It's like hair dye and hair relaxer. I've heard
Hair is
that
a little tricky.
I've heard that hair dye is the number one environmental pollutant in the world.
Wow.
I
Because
just
it all
heard a
goes down the
crazy-
drain
yeah, I
and
just heard
back into the water table, and it's got, I forget what's in it, but it's something like freaking cyanide. It's just like the worst shit ever.
Yeah.
I
Do
know.
you
It's
all
creepy.
do anything to your hair, or like, do you have any natural sort of hair protocol?
We don't sell any dyes.
No.
Okay.
Just because it seems like a more of a specialty product.
Yeah.
Right.
If something came along that was the solution for that, we would definitely
Yeah.
try to promote that.
But we
or-
are both guilty of getting our hair
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, we do. And one of our
Not
estheticians
naturally,
just told me
yeah.
she went to a lecture on lymphatic drainage, and apparently hair dye never leaves your lymph system.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, she told me that too, and I didn't tell you that.
Yeah. No, she texted me.
Well, I think most of us people are unaware that the skin is an organ, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's a living, breathing organ. And I
Yeah.
don't think a lot of people make the correlation that if you're rubbing something on your skin, that you're very
Ingesting.
scientifically and literally putting it right into your bloodstream.
Yeah, and of course, anyone who's ever used a patch to deliver any kind of pharmaceutical should know that. But it's true. I think people think, well, I'm not eating it. I'm just putting it on my skin.
It's
And
cool
yet
when
it's
people
actually-
change their orientation to thinking about their skin in that way. I feel like that's
Yeah.
a really big shift.
Yeah.
When you think about your skin not being this thing that's containing all your organs and actually is your largest organ, there's like a paradigm shift of how you take care of it.
It's also
That was big for me when I
Right.
made that connection. It was kind of like, oh,
Right.
of course. Like,
And you
I
know,
I like the way you stated
you
that.
know,
That's
like,
cool. Yeah, it's not
it's like
because-
makeup. It's like you don't want to necessarily be covering something up. You want to be revealing something. And we like makeup. It's not like we're like anti-makeup, but it's really more about like revealing kind of what's there already, as opposed to just like covering it up and painting over it.
You know, it's interesting on that. As a heterosexual guy who's like been attracted to women my whole life, I've never liked it, even when I was a teenager and was like, super horny for all the hot girls. Like, I've never liked when women wear really any makeup,
Right.
especially a lot of it.
I don't
Yeah.
think a lot of men do. I think
It's-
it's
I don't know,
actually
like, 'cause
quite common for
I'm
men.
like, because
to-
all the women, all the
Yeah.
young girls that want to be Kim Kardashian and have like 15 inches of like
Yeah.
foundation on and all this, I'm like, I guess there's got to be guys out there that like that plastic, like Barbie doll sort of fake look.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah, it's a
don't
little- I think
like
it's-
it. I mean, it looks weird,
Yeah.
especially
I've
like,
never been with a guy who does, obviously.
like, I guess if like
You know?
that's not, if you're not doing the like 4-inch lashes and all that
No,
stuff,
right.
it's like, yeah.
We took those off for today.
But what's interesting about it too is that as a guy, and I think every guy, I have one guy in the room that can relate to this, is like, and I think you figured this out, but when you're younger and you meet a girl out at a club or something like that, and you're like, oh my God, that girl's so hot, and then you get to know them, become more intimate with them, and then it gets to the point where you see them without makeup and you like jump
Yeah.
out of your
Sure,
skin.
I'm
You're
sure.
like, who are you? Where did
Yeah.
you come from? You know,
Right,
and you're
I
like,
know.
oh
And
shit.
nothing makes me
it's like
more
false
sad.
advertising.
Yeah.
It's
But
like,
it's
Totally.
also-
I
like a
feel
bait
like
and switch.
manipulated and used. It's like if a guy borrowed his friend's Ferrari and picked you up on a date, and then 2 weeks later you found out it was a loaner and he drove like a piece of shit Yugo or something.
The classic bait and switch.
Yeah. Bait.
It is. I've always. I don't know. Maybe I have like hidden deep resentments or
Right.
something. But I'm like,
Yeah.
that's just not cool. Like,
It also seems like a
enhancing's one
horrible-
thing, but putting on a whole fucking mask is like a
Yeah.
little bit deceptive.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It also seems really horrible to be a woman who feels like she has to do all of that before her husband or boyfriend can see her. It's
Yeah.
like you should.
Yeah.
That seems like a prison or something.
Yeah, totally. I mean,
know.
I'm always like bitching at my girlfriend to not wear makeup. She's
Yeah.
like, that's my thing. It's my style. I'm like, I get it, but you just look so pretty without it. you know?
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
there's
we're
anything
with
wrong
you.
with
Yeah.
it, but it's like, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's like God created you how you are. It looks
Right.
great.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that our message is like that doesn't mean that you can't look amazing. Like we're just really into great skin and we're really into looking vibrant and radiant. And it doesn't mean that we don't want to look great. I just don't really want to look like I'm trying to look 30 when I'm 60
Yeah.
Right.
because I don't think that looks good.
Yeah.
I want to look great when I'm 60.
Yeah.
But it's sort of a different end goal.
Yeah, and you can when you take care of your skin, right? I
Totally.
mean, look at Nadine
Absolutely.
Artemis from Living
Yeah,
Libations.
totally.
I've never like asked her age because it might be uncouth, but she's not 30, you know,
Yeah,
and her
yeah.
skin looks like 30s.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
totally.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From just getting high on her own supply, like using her
Yeah.
own
Yeah,
stuff, you know.
totally.
It's like a
Totally.
great testament. And you both have
Yeah.
great skin as well, you
Thank
know, and
you.
you're my age. So it's like, wow, that's great. So it's like you practice what you preach and you be your own sort of
Right.
walking billboard.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we talked a little bit before about nail polish. Is there any like healthy, I know you don't sell it, but is there any healthy nail polish, or is the healthy stuff, does it suck and like doesn't work?
Well, I think that it works. I think that with nail polish, there's less bad nail polish. There's definitely like an effort now with these like 3 free and 5
4
free
free
and
5
8
free.
and
Yeah.
certain chemicals have been taken out of them, like maybe the most offensive ones. I don't know that much about it, but I do know that there's definitely a spectrum and some are better than others. And I think the good ones, I mean, the good ones, meaning the less toxic ones, work just as well.
Yeah.
From my understanding.
Yeah.
I'm not like a huge nail person, but
Yeah.
They
um,
do.
I think they do.
There's a line called RGB that does nice nail polish.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many free she is, but I used
Right.
to actually carry her at Castor and Pollock's.
Yeah.
10/10's nail polish is in the free range as well. That one, they have beautiful colors and that works
Yeah.
well. What else? Those
We'll
are the
put all
two.
these in the show notes too.
Yeah, those are the
Yeah.
two that I can think of off the top of my
Yeah.
head. There's
And
one out
then-
of London called Butter,
Oh yeah,
which is kind of
That's
what
got some
they were
nice
like at the
color, too.
forefront of
Yeah.
that.
And I think that again, it kind of falls into that category of like, you got to make your own choices and you got to pick and choose what's important to you and what your trade-offs are.
yeah,
Totally.
And
I
go
mean,
for
that
it.
I talk every guest I have. We always talk about that subject, especially when it comes to your dietary choices. It's
Yeah.
like
yeah,
there's this tipping point of neurosis where you're like
Totally.
such a freak. You're just like, I'm a total control freak. Like I'm working on it, it's been hard to like pry my dying fingers off the things I want to control in my life.
Yeah.
People, situations, my health, my body, my
Yeah.
environment.
Yeah.
I mean, it can go that way where it gets neurotic,
Yeah.
but then if you're just like, fuck it, I'll just do whatever, you're going to end up with a chronic disease by the time you're 60.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
it's
to be
like-
honest, we try to not focus on that stuff and just focus really heavily on all the stuff that's so good for you.
Yeah.
You know, like if you crowd all that other stuff out with just like the amazing stuff, like Cindy has a really great thing that she always says, like, we don't need another study that says smoking is bad for us. Like, we know like certain products are not good for us. So let's talk about the actual products that are really delivering true health and what's in those and why we can just like keep adding more and more of those to our consistent daily choices.
That's
Right.
a really good approach.
Like
Yeah.
we don't even, to be
We call
like
it
honest,
crowding out.
like we don't have like a nasties list or like a,
Right.
we just
That's
don't,
respectable.
we just don't have it. I mean, we don't sell all those nasties at
Right.
all, but for us, it's like, it's kind of a no-brainer. Like, of course, don't use those. It's like saying to you, who's really health-driven, like, you really shouldn't go to McDonald's, Luke. Like, you really shouldn't. You're like, yeah, duh, I know that. What's the thing that I need to do that actually is going to make me feel good?
Right.
You know?
Right. I respect that because a lot of businesses in the health and wellness, they really use that fear tactic.
We don't do that.
You know, where it's like that, it's like this Illuminati thing. It's like when they stage a false flag military attack,
yeah.
problem, reaction,
Yeah.
solution. It's
Yeah.
like a
Right.
classic marketing,
Yeah.
Right.
trifecta where you scare the shit out of someone and
Yeah.
they're like, oh no, then they look to Big Brother for the answer.
Totally.
And then they're like, hey, the answer is we're going to Iraq. You know, I mean, that's like the
Yeah.
large scale,
Right.
but they
Yeah.
do that a lot in the health industry.
Yeah, big
It's
time.
like,
And
you
we
better
were-
buy my like Chinese herbs or this
And
vitamin
it's a
or
short-term
whatever.
solution.
Yeah.
It's like you're going to get somebody because they're scared and because they're coming at it from a place of fear, and they're
Right.
not going to probably see a result that's actually going to get them to continue on with it. They'll just like try it because they're like, oh shit, I need to do
They're
that.
also not going to be really excited to come back to Cap Beauty because they
Yeah.
know that coming to Cap Beauty means getting scared and not getting
and feeling
inspired.
bad about themselves. Like, we're all just doing the best we can.
Yeah,
like
no
every
one
single
needs to-
person who walks into Cap, it's like, you're doing a great job. Like, you are where you are right now, and here's some other stuff that's going to make you feel even better. But like, you're in the place you're supposed to be. Don't push yourself further and further along the path if you're not there yet.
Right.
Yeah,
know?
and the other side of it too is like fear is probably worse for you than
Yeah,
like
it's-
aluminum deodorant.
It's not
You
good
know what
for
I mean?
you.
Fear and stress about like
You see it on
Totally.
people's faces. I mean,
Yeah.
you see it in New York. Like,
Yeah.
I'm noticing that just being in LA, like the difference in like literally physical visages of people. And that, like, we've been to Erewhon and Gratitude, so that may explain it. But
Yeah,
literally,
just-
it's like
and you love
everybody
yoga.
just looks like way more like open in their face and kind of responsive to what's happening. There's not like a this around them,
yeah.
which
I think
Isn't
in New
healthy.
York City you have to kind of close your aura.
I
to
mean, I think
just-
you have to in order to
deflect.
survive.
There's just too much energy, too many people. It's too saturated. Like when I go there, I'm just headphones on. I even
Yeah.
walk around with earplugs on sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like
It's
I
a lot.
can't. I have
loud.
to cocoon
It's a lot.
up.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. Like, if you're a sensitive person at all, it's like it can be wildly overwhelming, you know.
So
But
what are some of the other lifestyle practices? I looked on your blog. There was one post that was like the best of New York wellness, and I noticed
Oh,
you had
yeah.
that place. I think it's called Lift, like a float. Is that
Oh,
what it's called? A float clinic
you
over
know,
in
I've never
Brooklyn?
been there. Katie Hughes, who's our amazing director of brand development, she wrote that guide kind of with the help of all the office staff and us.
Oh,
but that was
cool.
more her. And I'm not sure if Katie's been there, but
I
my
went
husband's
there.
really into flotation
Oh,
totes.
he is?
You've been to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to go. I
That's-
haven't gone myself.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever I go to New York, I always just Google that kind of stuff and
Was it
find it.
good?
Yeah, it's amazing.
It was good?
Yeah, and like doing hyperbaric oxygen chambers and just
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
always just trying to find that thing that's restorative. So,
Yeah,
are
yeah.
there any other discoveries? Like you mentioned today while you're out here, you went to something called a mineral meditation. What was up with
Yeah,
that?
yeah, that was great.
That
We
was-
went. It was almost more like a class.
Yeah.
I would say we did some meditation.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was run by a woman who studies minerals and
Yeah, Lauren
crystals.
Spencer King. She has that company called Sphinx and the Milky Way, and she does these beautiful little illustrations where she literally grinds down minerals, like she grinds down rocks and then paints from those. She's cool. She leads a lot of breathwork circles. She lives in Silver Lake, and we follow her on Instagram and had found out about her and realized she was doing that today. So we went to that. We do a lot of yoga in New York. That's kind of, I'd say, like our biggest practice.
Where do you guys practice?
Fitness
out there?
in general is
Skyting
big,
is our kind of our main jam. I also love Kula in Williamsburg. That's kind of a weekly date I have with my husband. That's
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Pilates.
Pilates. I have a Kundalini practice, but I do that mostly at home or with
Nice.
Desiree from Ben Shan. I go to a lot of her classes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
I like to run.
Yeah.
Yeah, I managed to find a Kundalini class last time I was there in
Where'd
Chelsea.
you go?
I think it was called Khalsa.
Oh, I don't
it was
know that.
I don't know.
Huh.
that.
23rd Street or something ish.
Really?
Yeah, it was like right around the
Interesting.
corner
Oh,
from where I was staying. I was like,
I'd
right on.
love to
It
know
was
where
actually
that
really
is.
great.
I don't know. There's not a ton of Kundalini spots in New York.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to go to Golden Bridge a fair amount, but my schedule doesn't work with it as well right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that one, I never stay down there anymore. I stayed once there at a hotel that was right next door, and I went there, and it was cool. But like,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, so yoga, Pilates.
We like the Womb Center. That's a
Oh, it's
really
great.
cool.
Have you been
new
there?
Yeah, that was on your
space.
site too. Tell
Yeah.
us about that.
Great.
Those guys are great. It's a couple, and I
It's-
can't remember their name right now.
It's Elian and David.
yeah.
David.
David.
He's Israeli.
Yeah.
And so they opened on Bowery. They have this amazing space. He's a chef, and so he has this
An
cafe in
exquisite
there.
chef.
Really good food, and they have this room that's outfitted with projectors and a sound system. They do amazing sound meditations. I've never been to a sound meditation like it because you actually participate.
Really?
Like some of the
Yeah.
sounds are actually you humming and screaming, and
Wow.
super cool.
pretty
so like
great.
an interactive sound bath.
yeah. And even
Yeah.
in the yoga classes, they do a bit of that, and then it's like when you come out of these meditative states, these projections are all on the walls around you. Of
It's very
really beautiful
It
sensory.
engages all of your senses.
Yeah.
That's
And they also
amazing.
worked with this amazing woman named Michelle Gagnon, who
Oh, yeah.
is an essential oil specialist. I guess she's like
She's
a
a
master
biochemist, but-
biochemist in essential oils, and she created a scent like for the actual physical space. So you're really engaging everything. Like,
Right.
And then
And
you
then-
come out of class, and David serves you these beautiful tonic drinks that he's prepared, kind of to bring you back down to earth.
Yeah.
It's a really cool spot.
It's
I love,
great.
I love the Womb
Yeah, they're
Center.
doing something good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of where
Where
else.
do we go?
I'm definitely checking that out when I go to New York. That sounds
You should. I
amazing.
think
Yeah,
you'd,
you'd
love
like
it.
it.
You'd like it.
And it's
I
great
think you'd
that
like
it's
them a
there.
lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're cute. They're young. They're smart.
Yeah.
It's just a good sign, I think, in major cities like New York and LA, where you have these businesses popping up like that, and they actually do good business. Like
Yeah.
they survive. There's a place here in La Brea called Den Meditation, and they just have like you buy a monthly membership, and there's just
Yep.
all of these meditation classes and knowledge meetings and
Yeah.
sound baths, and they just have
Yeah.
this whole community that just sprung up.
Yeah,
And that
that's
when they
great.
first opened, to be honest, I was like, oh, that should probably last a week. Like,
Well, especially
how
in
you
LA
going to
where
get people to
people's
come in
homes
and
are-
like pay $25
Yeah.
to like sit in a 45-minute meditation class? It's like they do it.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Place is always packed. They seem to be doing
it
very
makes
well.
it almost makes more sense in New York where people's homes are not as people. A lot of people in New York are not. They're never home.
Yeah.
And their homes don't reflect a place where they like to go to unwind. And
You can't fit anyone in your goddamn
no,
home.
I
know.
know. Yeah, we have tiny.
There's a great guy named Nate Martinez who's a friend of
Oh,
ours. He
yeah.
does sound baths. He's great, and he does them out of Skyting. He also does them kind of around the city, but he does really beautiful
Yeah.
sound meditations. He's a musician who got into sound meditation and studied with the master for a while, and he's great. He's a really nice person, and great for sound meditations.
And do you, speaking of meditation, do either of you have a regular style of practice in your life that
We
helps
do.
you?
Yeah.
We
Be
do
awesome.
TM.
You do TM?
Yeah,
Cool.
we
Both
learned
do.
last year. I think we're coming up on our year anniversary.
Oh yeah, we have to call Bob.
Yeah.
You guys are
both
really
have to learn.
besties, huh? Like you're always like, we did this, we're doing
Well,
that.
we
I
do so much
know.
together.
Really
We're
weird.
always
It's
together.
cool.
Yeah.
But we are actually our friend Natane, who introduced us to her Kabbalah class,
Yeah.
also introduced us to her meditation teacher, who is like
Amazing.
maybe one of the best people I've ever met, and he's the executive director of the David Lynch Foundation.
Wow, so he's high up.
He studied with
Yeah.
Maharishi Mahesh, and
Dope.
he's like everybody's. I mean, he told
He's
us stories.
great.
Yeah, he's
a sweetheart.
amazing.
That's
He's-
awesome. Yeah, I interviewed Russell Simmons the other day, and he
Oh,
works
we
with
wanna
David
meet
Lynch
him.
and does TM and stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do Vedic meditation, which
Yeah.
is kind of an offshoot. And
Bob
This
is probably
changed my
his
life.
teacher, too.
Yeah.
did you find, so those of you listening that don't know what TM is, Transcendental meditation and Vedic
Yes.
meditation, and the practice is 20 minutes twice a day.
Yes.
Once you get your mantra and you kind of learn your thing, did either of you find it difficult to have the discipline to keep that going at any point?
I think it's hard.
Yeah, it is hard.
Yeah.
I don't always do it twice a day, but I always do it once at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find it hard for me. It's hard. I'm growing out of this phase a little bit, but sorry, I keep hitting that. It's hard for me to do it at home if my kids are awake.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's just like I tell them it's quiet time. They kind of get it. Like my daughter will come and sit next to me to kind of like do it with me. And then in like a minute, she's like, Mama, I want to whisper something in your ear.
Right.
But, you know, I just
Yeah.
like go with it. I'm like, what would Bob tell me to do? Oh, yeah. He would just tell me to like go back to it. And
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
just-
my meditation teacher teaches, his name's Jeff Kober, and he teaches courses in New York periodically throughout the year. And he goes to like Union Square Park and meditates.
Yeah.
And that's like part of that teaching. It's totally, I
Definitely.
think when people think of meditation, they have
Yeah.
these preconceived ideas that you have to force your mind to be
Right.
quiet. And
The
if you
incense
are
has to be
thinking, then
burning.
Yeah.
you've ruined it, and you're not meditating. You have to be somewhere quiet.
right.
And
No,
that's
but
what
that's
I like
part
about
of
that
it.
tradition.
And that's what I like about TM too is like, yeah, you'll have thoughts. That's okay.
It's so practical.
It's really
It's
practical.
Like, do it.
Yeah.
It's really, really simple.
I
Just
was at
like
a
do it.
workshop at Jivamukti, and the meditation teacher was saying that actually, like all that noise, it makes it a really good place to practice because you're practicing.
Yeah.
Got that right. Yeah,
Right.
I have a hard time with it myself.
Yeah,
I
it's
have
hard.
these, they're around here somewhere, but I mean, it's quiet in here, quiet
Yeah.
enough to record, but it's still too loud in here to me to meditate because there's a 4-way stop sign right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I'll be like, okay,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
start honking. I'm like,
Yeah.
God damn it. So I have those little, like, what they wear at the airport,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
those
yeah.
like
Oh, yeah, yeah.
construction earmuffs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
That's hilarious.
and my teacher told me you're not supposed to do that.
I think it's kind of cool to just go with that
I-
stuff happening.
Yeah, me too.
You know
can't
what I
get
mean?
there.
I think that is
Yeah.
the practice,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
right? That's
yeah. It's funny. I
it's
just
never
don't-
going to be a perfect environment.
I don't
for
know how
it.
people meditate when it's really loud.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I want to get knocked out. I want to
Yeah.
really go into that
Oh
zone.
yeah,
Yeah.
me too. I want to go. Like it feels
That
like you're on
feels
drugs when you're
really
having a
good.
meditation, but it's definitely hard. I mean, I didn't ever have a successful practice until I learned TM. It was like sitting for 3 minutes without.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
It's
that's
not
harder
so
than
easy.
running 3 miles. It's
What
Yeah.
benefits have you noticed as a result of having started that meditation?
Kerrilynn says a lot. Like we talk about it because it's sort of hard to tell because your life is always changing, so you don't know actually how you would be. We just wrote a book,
Yeah.
and that
No
was
way.
like an
Yeah.
incredible amount of work and had there's just a lot going on always because we've got a business to run, and it's just funny because as our business is ramped up, so is our meditation practice. So it's sort of hard to say where we'd be without it, but it definitely
I think it got us through
Yeah.
writing the book. The
Yeah.
book writing process was really, I don't want to say easy to make it sound like it was easy, but it was like filled with a lot of ease. It was a lot of work, but it was between, I think, all the practices that we have
Yeah.
and what we do and how we take care of ourselves, just like let us write the book in a
Mm-hmm.
way that felt super
it was
like
It
clean
was-
and strong.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like it didn't ever feel like I could have imagined that of happening many years ago with with way fewer practices in place for
Yeah.
myself. And
Yeah,
it would have
just
been
like all-nighters and
mess.
bad
like, you know,
snacks.
like lots of coffee, just things like to keep you up and up and up. And we never really, I mean, we got tired and it was
Yeah.
like some days we were like, oh man, we got to write this. But it was never like hair pulling
Yeah.
at all. It was actually really joyful.
yeah.
If I got out my checkbook right now and I offered each of you $1 million each to not meditate for the rest of your life, would you take it? And you could not meditate one time ever again. I'll
No.
give you $1 million right now.
No.
No.
How about 10?
Maybe.
Maybe 10.
Yeah,
You're like, one doesn't
Can we
really
do
move the
Kundalini?
needle. I
Does
live
that
in New
count?
York, man. I can't even buy a
Wait,
fucking
Are we just
party.
talking TM?
Could I do Shavasana?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you could do
Oh
that.
yeah, if we can do Shavasana, I'm in.
No,
yeah.
I think that's just a great question. I interviewed
It is a
a
good
woman from
question.
New York, actually named Emily Fletcher, who has a place called Ziva Meditation out there, and she's
Oh,
a
yeah.
Vedic meditation teacher, amazing lady, and that's how she described her practice. She was
Wow.
like, "It's so important to me that
Wow.
and from the beginning, she said that there is no amount of money you could pay me to give it up. There's just it's invaluable."
Yeah.
And when she
That's an
poised
interesting
that,
way to think about it.
that statement to me, I was like, you know what? That's totally the way it is for me too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just nothing I would trade
Right.
for that ability to really be
Drop
with
in.
myself and
Yeah.
to clear that channel of emotions and mind and all of
Yeah.
that and connect to something other than myself
Yeah.
or what I seem to think is
Interesting.
myself.
The other
Interesting.
thing is just how like purely physical the benefits are. It's so. I mean, we had a talk in the store with. Do you know Dr. Robin Burzin?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
interviewed
she
Robin.
did-
Yeah,
she did
Awesome.
she did a talk in our store. I think the subject of the talk was like hormones and skin health, and of course, she just sort of went more basic into like what it is to be in balance and to have health. And she said that literally the single most important thing you can do for your health is meditate. And I
That's
totally
awesome.
believe that. I mean, you
Yeah.
feel the stress leaving your body when you do it.
But I think
It's
a lot of
amazing.
people think that it's like a high, like you're going to leave and be like, oh, I feel so high from that. And I don't feel like, for me, like that's not my TM practice. It's really subtle for me. It's like a really subtle, deep level in my body that feels really good. But when people are like, oh, meditation doesn't work for me, it's like, I think those people are like expecting something else. Like they're expecting to feel a different way. And it does modify you and shift you, but not in like, it's not coffee. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It doesn't
no.
like work in that kind of way, like, but it accumulates over time and settles into your body and becomes a memory. Like for me, it's like, it just has made me more mellow and more focused and more, I'd say like clear, just like clearer on everything.
Have either of you experienced, as a result of meditation, an emergence of negativity? Like where you've become more irritable or had any,
used to
bouts with anger where you're like, wow, who am I right now? What the hell? Like I thought I was over this.
I did early on, like when we were first learning. I had a situation where I had meditated, and then like the typical kind of like stressors of my life, of like especially like family stuff, and just sometimes it's hard with young children to like get everyone dressed and get everyone out of the house and get it all done and keep everyone on track. And I remember feeling like, wow, I'm actually a really, really patient person. And that kind of stuff does not throw me off. And after meditating, I had a moment where that was like too intense. And I talked to Bob about it. And his recommendation was, I don't know if you do this in Vedic meditation, but we do sort of like almost like a cool down. So like after I meditate, there's usually a couple of minutes of not.
Same, yeah.
And where you're not engaging with the world, but you're not fully meditating. And the recommendation was just do that for longer.
Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
good to know. Because I didn't get that recommendation. It's sort of like, passing back through the atmosphere
Yeah,
to the earth
right.
if you've been in outer
Right.
space. It's like, it's a little
think
rocky.
that's a really
coming
good
out of it.
analogy.
Have you had like outbursts of anger after meditating?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, I had been doing various forms of meditation for, I guess, probably 15 years
Yeah.
before I learned Vedic, just from reading books and listening
Yeah.
to a lot of guided meditations.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just trying to cobble together
Yeah.
anything I could. I went to India and learned some stuff there, and it was cool. It worked for me, but I was never able to like sit in that zone
Right,
and just
yeah.
like go
Yeah.
go dark, like, and I don't mean dark negative, but just dark in the most beautiful way in that meditation. And yeah, it was really weird because I'd worked through a lot of just childhood trauma and just in therapy and everything that I've done, just worked on anger and hostility and just impatience and irritability and all that stuff a lot. And I started meditating, and it took me a while to realize that there was a correlation there. But I was like, God, I'm like regressing, becoming a dick again, and then I sort of realized that it definitely had a timeline correlation between my meditation. And so I, of course, went to my teacher, Jeff, and he's like, yeah, man, you have lifetimes, not just this lifetime, but lifetimes, plural, worth of stressors and trauma that your soul is working out. And when you get your mind out of the way and you create that platform and set the intention to release that stuff, it's coming out. And so, of course you're irritable.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing. A lot of people get into meditation
releasing
thinking
it.
like, oh, I'm going to become so chill and zen.
Yeah.
It's like, well, sometimes.
I used to have that after yoga from time to time. I would have a really great yoga class and then get home and be really agitated. And I think it just was like kind of like stirring stuff up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't have that so much anymore, but I definitely had that when I was younger.
Yeah.
So speaking of negativity, both of you are obviously very devoted to this lifestyle, and so much so that you've made it a business. And it's like what you do. It's what you're contributing to the planet and its occupants. Did either of you have like a catalyst of failure or pain that sort of led you in this direction of health and well-being, or was it just a subtle charm of like, you know what, I feel better when my life goes more this way? For myself personally, why I ask is like, I definitely went downhill really far earlier in my life and like was forced to make a change and kind of explore all this stuff. Was that the case for you, or was it just sort of a natural progression?
You can go.
I would say I've always been really drawn to it and really interested. No, I was never like rock bottom, so to speak, but my mom died from cancer when I was pretty young, and I think that also precipitated like a deeper interest. And I think even like for me, reading someone like Chris Carr was really important to feel kind of back in control. And, you know, it's not like, I also recognize that disease happens to even healthy people. Like my mom was a healthy person, but it happened. And I think, though, that feeling like you don't have to feel bad, you don't have to succumb to things, it's really empowering. So I would say that was probably one of the biggest pulls for me, but it's always been an interest. And then it's also like there are times in my life where, yeah, you have that interest, but it's also coupled with the lifestyle of a young single person living in New York City. So I haven't always been as deep into a wellness practice as I am now, but it's always been an interest.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And how about you?
I think Cindy's interest was probably deeper than mine was. Started there, and then mine, I think when I found out I had celiac, that was a really big one for me. I used to feel like shit all the time, and I just
So you were like eating gluten the whole time while you're celiac, and then had no idea why?
I had no idea. I mean, I just felt horribly all the time. Like I was in and out of doctor's offices, like as a kid, like all the time. They were like, she has ulcers, she has IBS, she has colitis.
Have another antibiotic.
Yeah, like here's another antibiotic, like all these things. And I just couldn't believe that that was how people felt. But I felt that way, and I didn't know I was doing anything wrong, and I wasn't super deep down the rabbit hole at all. I was just like, oh, this is what it's like to get older. But I didn't really believe that. I was like, I mean, I was maybe 37, 38 when I found out I had it. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't believe that people could feel that way at 37 years old and then get to the age of 70. It just didn't make sense to me. So for me, when I found that out from my doctor, and I wasn't like investigating what was wrong with me, I just went in for a routine physical. And my doctor, who is in no way, it's Cindy's doctor as well, he's not alternative at all. He's like a great doctor, but he's not like he's not looking to uncover
He's
stuff.
not a functional medicine doctor.
No.
Not even close.
Like Robin.
Like he doesn't really believe in green juice. He just thinks it's overpriced water.
He thinks
basically.
we're crazy.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah. But he's a good doctor.
But he'll do a blood test.
And he did a blood test on me for my annual physical and called me and was like, how are you walking around? He's like, do you feel horrible? And I was like, that's what I've been telling you. Like, I really do feel horrible. It's not just me coming in like as a, New York dweller feeling bad. So I found that out, and then that really led me to realize how good I could feel. Like, I think I had been treating my body in a way that I wouldn't treat it now because I didn't even know it could feel that good. And we talk about that a lot, where people don't even realize what it feels like to feel really good until you feel really, really bad, and then you actually see the light. So for me, that was really profound. And then I started feeling good and was like, whoa, this is kind of amazing. And then I just like, given my personality and kind of leanings, just like went with it and was like, oh, this is rad. Like, I want to know, like, if this makes me feel this way, I want to know about this, 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 and this. And, like, I'm learning every day. Like, we'll never run out of things to learn about. It's so cool and so exciting. But for me, it was just feeling shitty all the time, I'd say.
I relate to that.
And then I kind of like fed that, you know what I mean? It was like I said, like, when you don't know how to feel good, it's not even an option to feel good. So you just keep feeding yourself in a way that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's the most frustrating thing I find when I work with people doing coaching is to get them over the threshold where they feel like an actual human being.
Yeah.
And then once they like have good days, and then they go back to the aspartame, MSG, canola oil, wheat, gluten, soy, corn, like all the nastiness.
Yeah.
Diet Cokes. Then you go back to that and you're like, oh my God, like just the brain fog comes back, the energy, like digestive problems. But you have to get someone to that baseline.
If you have no reference point, it's really hard.
To create
it's like
contrast.
trying to envision something or feel something that is not a part of your system. Right. How do you explain it? It's like trying to explain a feeling to someone is very challenging. You don't know if your feeling's the same as somebody else's.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's complicated. But I think for me, I always say, people will say to me like, I could never not eat pizza or bagels again. And I'm like, I could have a pizza right now. I just don't want to. Like, it's And I
Right.
think that shift as well, like, it's not that I can never have it. I could leave here right now and go have it, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is the difference. It's,
Yeah,
you know,
it's connecting also what you're doing and what you're ingesting and what you're putting on your skin with how you feel.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like, well, of course there's a pleasure moment for anyone with eating
yeah,
something
everyone
really
has
delicious.
that. Like, pizza would be delicious.
What is more pleasurable
But-
than pizza? I mean, you have pizza's like the
I don't even
heroin
think I
of
remember
food.
what it-
I
yeah,
mean, it's
I
like,
know.
You could
Oh
put
my
sugar
God.
on it.
You know
Oh
what,
my
though? I
God.
never liked pizza. Like,
Oh,
this is
really?
the weird thing. When I was a kid, I actually was the only kid who never liked pasta, who never liked sandwiches, who didn't like pizza. So my body knew, right? Like, how many kids are eating, like, shrimp? That was, like, my favorite food was shrimp. Not a lot of children are doing that, but I think for sure my body was like, don't eat that stuff. It doesn't work so well for you. I didn't crave it in any way. And when I did eat it, I would eat so much of it because I would get no nutritional value from it that I would never feel sated from it.
Have you ever had the experience where you're eating really clean for a while and then you're like, fuck it, I'm going to eat a whole carton of Oreos because it just feels good. And not only is there a price to pay, but they're not actually that good anymore. Have you
Right,
experienced, like,
right.
because I have these fantasies like Doritos, which are horrible, full of GMO corn and
Yeah,
MSG,
yeah.
and just that they're not even, they're literally not even food.
Yeah.
Or Oreos with whatever
Yeah.
that lard shit,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
hydrogenated
Totally.
oil in the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, just like the stuff you find at your average grocery store. But I still have that memory from being a kid, and like Oreos were the shit.
Right.
So
I
I like-
used to
It's
have
like
that.
So I'm
for
like,
a
you
while.
know what?
I don't have that anymore.
You don't
I
have it?
I've had it with like champagne maybe or tequila or something, like where it's like I don't drink much and then it sounds really fun to just like, you know, do something with abandon, and yeah, it's not as good as
Yeah, it sort of
you know.
loses it. It's like the mystique that some of those things have. It's this nostalgia,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
Like,
Totally.
when I was a kid, I loved Captain Crunch Berries. So like, oh, let's have a bowl of that with
Yeah.
like hormone-laden, antibiotic,
yeah.
God, I used to
gross
love Doritos
pus
as a
cow
kid.
milk. And it's
Yeah.
like, it's actually, it's not really that good when
No.
you try it.
no.
Well, I think all of that stuff is just made for us to crave it. Like, I ate that way as a kid. That was totally how I ate.
Yeah.
So it's not like I can't remember it. I just, I don't crave it as much because I feel like I've like canceled it out with the good stuff. Now I crave like the stuff that's like fun, which is like a bag of granola. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like I've
Right,
conditioned
right. Like
myself to
Honey
think that's
Mamas.
really
Yeah.
wild.
Totally.
You
Yeah,
know, like,
totally.
oh, I'm
I
gonna go
agree.
crazy on a bag of granola.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been getting something here in LA. I guess they don't have it in New York. It's called Model Meals, and it's
What's
this like
that?
gourmet, like pre-made meals that you just heat up.
Yeah.
It's like all paleo and just
it
totally
good?
according to my dietary
Yeah,
preferences, and it's
perfect.
so good.
Yeah.
And one of the things that they have on the menu because the menu changes every week. You
Yeah.
order every Sunday, and then
Yeah.
you order however many days. So I just stopped grocery shopping because my food always just rots. I don't know how to
Right.
cook. I hate cooking.
Yeah.
So I get my model meals and I just put like a little ghee in a skillet and I heat it up. I don't even follow the directions on how you're supposed to heat it up.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
do it all in a skillet. But one of the things they have is like pastured bacon, like from totally free range, like really natural
Yeah,
pigs.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and it comes in these big thick chunks. And it's just like that's like
Totally. Well, that's
good,
what happens.
healthy fats, some protein. It's
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
So that's like my version of bacon now. So if I like drove
Right.
by an IHOP and was like, ooh, I want to go get some of that crispy, like overcooked, gross
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
bacon, it wouldn't actually taste good anymore because now I've had like the most chronic bacon
Totally.
in
Yeah,
California.
you've canceled
you know?
out the
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
how I
crappy
am
version.
with like, yeah, or like that could be about like some incredible chocolate or some
Yeah.
incredible, that like
Yeah.
grindstone bread is as good
Totally.
as any bread in my opinion, and
Yeah.
it's made from quinoa and fennel, like it's amazing.
Yeah.
But
But those
like that
those,
doesn't. I don't want the baguette.
Yeah. And those kind of processed foods, like they really like they're like chemicals set up to like make you want them. I had those in my system for a long time, being a kid who was raised on that. Like
Yeah.
Cindy wasn't raised on that. Like that was like what we ate. And
Yeah.
I can still, like you said, Doritos. I was like, I don't want Doritos. And then I was like, those sound delicious.
Yeah.
Especially at the beach. Like
Yeah.
my
Totally,
mom always
totally,
bought us Doritos and went to the beach. I always associated them like that was
Oh,
lunch.
yeah.
Oh my
at the
God. And you
beach.
had like
There's
orange
always
fingers
things-
and sand.
totally.
It's
Yeah.
like-
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So
cute.
as we getting closer to the end here, there's something I definitely want to cover that I'm holding in mind. But on the food tips, just because we're covering the lifestyle, what types of things are you eating that you're finding serve your body and give you good energy to be these fabulous entrepreneurs that you are at this point?
Plants.
Yeah, a lot of
Plants.
vegetables.
Lot of vegetables?
Lot of vegetables. I think it's sort of the base of any good eating, right?
Yeah.
Like whether you're paleo or vegan or
Yeah.
anything else, it's just like probably we should all be eating more vegetables than we think we need.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And
Yeah.
fermented food. Like a lot of
Nice.
sauerkraut, a lot of fermented olives and
Yeah.
pickles and
Coconut
everything.
butter. We have a coconut butter we sell in the store. That's a Cap
yeah.
Beauty coconut
It's
butter.
really
That's
good.
just absolutely delicious. Amazing, beautiful food.
Healthy fat,
Yeah, we use
Or,
that
you
for a
know,
lot of
any kind of
things.
well-made fat is good.
Yeah,
What else?
I'd say like fruits, vegetables.
So tons of
Fat,
vegetables, healthy
yeah.
fats, and then are you eating any fish or meat?
I do. I eat fish. I eat eggs.
Yeah.
But not a lot, probably.
Yeah.
Not probably every day at all, but I'm pretty laxed about trying things also. My husband is French and he's the son of a butcher, and like, you know, we go to parties and things like that where like sometimes there's some like pate that somebody's mom made in Brittany and he smuggled into the country, and it's like, maybe I'll try that.
That's
I'm
cool.
pretty open about that, but I would say most of my life is more plant heavy, and I'm sort of flexible.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a good way
Yeah.
to be.
I
I mean,
think
that's so.
yeah.
I like people always want to like categorize us, right? Are
Yeah.
you paleo or vegan or vegetarian? It's like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm not a thing that I eat. It's like
Right. Yeah.
whatever my body seems to want at that moment. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes I subsist on like green smoothies for a week, and like I don't know, that's all I really feel like
Yeah.
eating. And then there's
Yeah.
times where I just crush every animal on the planet, and you know, it's just that's what it feels like
Yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
Yeah.
so be
hilarious.
conscious about the choices of where those things come from.
Totally.
Very
Yeah.
conscious about that, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I like the idea of those of us in the industry kind of like getting rid of the labeling and all these strict
Yeah.
rules.
I
'cause
think
it-
a lot of people struggle with that.
it's so divisive,
Yeah.
you know. And it's
I also
like,
think that anyone in a position like we like in our spa, our estheticians, a lot of the people who work at CAP are super pro bone broth and, you know, stuff that we don't really do, but it's, you know, it definitely boils down to what works for you. And I think, you know, we have a girl who started with us and she was vegan for I don't know how many years, and then one of our estheticians convinced her to drink bone broth, and
Yeah.
it's like, that's cool. It's like,
yeah,
she's
that's the gateway
She doesn't
drug
need
for a
the-
lot of vegans.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the human body at a point for a lot of people goes like, I need like a little something nutrient dense, you know.
Right.
So I actually know I know a guy actually who considers himself a hardcore vegan, and he eats bone broth because he's just like,
Yeah,
I'm
he's not a
sorry, my
hardcore
body
vegan.
my body wants it, but he won't
Yeah.
eat meat. I don't
I mean,
even
it's
think
cool
he does
that he's
ghee
doing
or
that. I'm
anything.
just
But
saying
he's
he's
just
not
like,
a
sorry,
vegan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing bone broth.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
I think
so it's
That's
it's
why
funny
it's
that-
nice to lose the labels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's not a
absolutely.
hardcore vegan.
Yeah.
You know, if he's
Well,
having
that's
like,
the thing is there is like a gray area with bone
Yeah.
broth because it's like, well, that animal was already killed for their meat and organs
Yeah,
anyway.
but you could
like,
say that
you
about
could say that
any,
about any
individual part.
I just like to
protein.
justify
So is the
it.
leather, and so
But
is
I
the,
mean,
you
to
know.
me, it's like if I was a vegan, I'm like, all right, my body's calling for a little of that, but I don't want to contribute by eating a steak. But it's like, in other words, they don't raise, whether it's like really healthy pasture raised animals or the worst factory farm. No one's raising cattle just for their bones. You know what I
Unless
mean?
there's enough demand for bone broth, then they
Yeah.
will.
Oh shit. Okay, you got
yeah.
me.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're not judging any
Yeah.
No,
eating
totally,
habit.
I know.
And like I think
No.
that's where it boils back down to, like, definitely base that diet in vegetables. Base it in a lot of fruits and vegetables and well grown anything, and then do what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
Just like
most
being
of
thoughtful
all,
behind that decision.
most of
too.
all, be really aware of how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
I think is the bottom line. And like you said, like there's probably times in your life where your body is calling for something, so do it.
Well, I also watch animals, you know, even like you have a dog. I'm
Yeah.
sure you've seen your dog will just fast. You ever notice
Oh
that?
yeah, yeah, totally.
Like your
When they're
dog's
not
like, fuck
feeling
you, I'm not
well.
eating this week. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, is it sick? And like freak
Yeah.
out. It's like, no, the dog just wants to go eat some grass. Like
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
take it for a walk
Yeah.
and it's good. It's like,
Yeah.
it's doing its little
Yeah.
They
spring
don't have
cleaning
like
or
all
whatever.
the kind of like psychology around eating.
My kids are like that too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like my daughter will go through. I mean, there was a big period of her life where she didn't want to eat in the morning. She didn't want to eat at night, but she ate like 2 lunches, and had like a smoothie, or just juice or water or something, and At first I was like, should I be worried about this? And it was like, she's growing perfectly. She's super lithe and healthy, and it's fine.
Wow, you just brought back like childhood trauma of my dad like pounding on the dining room table going, eat.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't eat, and he'd make me eat eggplant. Oh, I still hate eggplant.
Do you still hate it?
Yeah, I've never
Really?
liked eggplant. But I just remember that eat. He would like pound on the table, and he
Yeah.
was a very ominous sort of presence. And
people get really freaked out about their kids not
I've
eating.
since forgiven him, but
Yeah.
I always was like, I'm not hungry. Like, why are you trying to stuff food down my face if I
Right.
don't want it? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you know, being in more of a parent age
Yeah.
now, although I don't have them, that totally makes sense. It's like, your kid knows what it is supposed to be doing.
Right.
Totally.
Your kid's not going to starve, and one day you're going to come home and
No.
they're going to be emaciated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless, you know, they're too young to probably have an eating disorder. But I think that's a healthy way. It's
Yeah.
like, cool, you're in charge of your body.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Unless
we could
they're
all
just being
kind
a
of learn
rat
from
and they
that.
won't eat
Well, there
dinner
is.
that you
I mean,
made.
yeah. There's also like at a certain age, then they start to like mimic what their friends are doing, or they decide that they want something that's maybe not because they really want it. But I'm pretty relaxed about kind of letting her dictate when she's hungry. And my son is a little different. He has growing issues. He's very tiny, and there's a lot more people like trying to force feed him. And that's a little bit of an issue for me because a lot of times it's like, I know he needs calories, but he also needs nutrition. And so, you know, you have like people who just want to give him like chocolate milk and bacon. And that's fine too if it's good chocolate milk and good bacon, but he's not tiny because he's not eating. He's tiny for genetic reasons. And so, you know, we can also focus on nutrition. So
Yeah, cool.
Definitely.
Okay, so the next thing I wanted to ask you as we come to a close is what's up with this book?
yeah, the book.
Oh, the
Yeah.
book.
The book
Sounds
is
interesting.
It's the working
It's-
title,
yeah.
and probably the title is High Vibrational Beauty, and the subtitle is Recipes and Rituals for Radical Self-Care.
Wow, nice
Yeah.
title. I
So
like
cool.
it.
Thank you. And
it's half cookbook.
yeah,
and
it's
half
seasonal.
kind of. It's based on the seasons. A lot of recipes. I think we have 75 recipes in there.
Yeah.
And then also rituals, like things to incorporate with the season to make you feel your best. And then kind of our philosophy on eating and lifestyle and practices and just basically the
Yeah.
whole CAP Beauty kind of
Yeah.
manifesto laid out in a 300-page book.
Yeah.
That's
it's very
amazing.
like sort of the way we live and the way we approach beauty is a bigger word, not just cosmetic, but like, you know, drinking your tea from a beautiful cup and
Yeah.
incorporating beauty into sort of everything you do.
Yeah, our tagline
So
is beauty is wellness for CAP Beauty, and that really is how we kind of strive to live each and every day.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Well,
was
thank
fun
you
to
for
write.
contributing. And I can't wait for that book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
next year, next April.
April.
Yeah,
Awesome. Well,
a
we'll
year from
definitely-
now.
We'll do everything we can to support it and get it out
Thank
there
you.
too.
Thank you.
So I'm going to ask you my closing question as we end here.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see, because it's always fun interviewing two people, because usually I just have one guest, so I get a double answer. So you've taught me tons of stuff today. Our audience has learned a bunch from you. Who have been 3 teachers or teachings in your lives that have influenced you to become who you are today? Could be a book, a person, anything. A philosophy. We like to put in the show notes these types of resources
Okay.
because someone will listen to you and be like, you know what? That Kerrilynn's really cool. I like listening to her. Like, how did
Yeah.
she become who she is? So that's why I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
what got you to where you
I'm
are?
going to
Yeah.
say Bob Roth, and I think Cindy's
Yeah.
probably going to say that as well, the executive director of the David Lynch Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to take another one from Cindy as well, but probably Chris Carr. She's the one who really
Yeah.
made me look at my diet and my life in a different way. And then the third one,
I'm going to go, I'll say a couple while
Yeah.
you're waiting. Natalia Rose, did you ever read her books?
No, huh?
She was like, I want to say it was sort of back in the late
Yeah.
90s, early 2000s. She did a book called The Raw Food Detox Diet, but it introduced me to some of these concepts of like eating. A lot of times people will say breakfast is the most important meal, and that never really resonated for me. So and a lot of her philosophy comes from Gil Jacobs, who's a colon therapist in New York, he's like the godfather of colonics, and he's like the guy to go to if you want to like really go there. And her book, she's a student of his, and her book was very kind of interesting to me because it presented a lot of ideas that I hadn't known already. Bob, for sure, Bob Roth. And
I'm going to say this isn't somebody anybody can Google or do anything about, but my Aunt Maggie was really, really important in kind of teaching me how to live. Like she was like, her whole kind of life pursuit was aesthetics and knowledge. And her whole world was just about like the rabid kind of, like a rabid interest in why things were beautiful and how to make your life beautiful and how to make your space beautiful. And she was really kind of a driving force for me there.
Her style.
Yeah, her style is just like nothing I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
Where was she from?
She was from Portland, Oregon.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and she, in my other business, we make, I'm not wearing them today, but I make a bracelet called the Maggie bracelet, which is based on a bracelet she wore for 40 years. And there are many women across the country now that have them. And it was kind of this beautiful family heirloom that I was passed down, and now I cast them and I sell them. And she was just really influential to me in like that pursuing a beautiful life was a very worthy pursuit.
Yeah.
Amen. I agree. What's your
Yeah.
third?
I'd probably go with my mom.
Yeah.
She grew up on an apple farm, and so she had this sort of like innate kind of eco earth mom kind of thing. And I think she was really informed like how I raise my kids and how like what I notice in life, and a lot of the same things as Kerrilynn also. All of her family were artists, and so there was a lot of aesthetics and from cooking, from how we ate to how we just lived. And she was
Cool.
pretty laid back. So
Yeah.
All right.
I
Thanks
wish I
for
had met
sharing
her.
that. In closing,
Yeah.
where would you like people to go to find you on social media, websites, phone numbers, all that stuff?
come to our store.
Yeah,
It's in the
come
West
visit
Village.
I'm
us.
going to come to your store. I'm
Please
You
coming
gotta
out
come
in
to our store.
July.
Come have a treatment.
And I
Yeah.
usually stay in Chelsea or the West Village.
Yeah.
so
Yeah, you
I'm
gotta
always
come
right
visit
there.
Yeah.
us.
We're right
Yeah.
there.
Catbeauty.com, which we're actually in the process of redoing. It's up right now. It's pretty, but it's going to be even more dynamic and beautiful, and that's happening in July. But catbeauty.com. Our
Yeah.
Instagram is catbeautydaily, and I think
Twitter
our
and
Facebook and Twitter
Facebook,
are the
yeah.
same. More active on Instagram than the other two, but
I know.
and the blog.
Who can
the
figure
blog.
out Facebook?
I
mean,
we literally
talk about
airing
this
this
all
on
the time.
Facebook Live. I'm
It's-
like, is Facebook like an old person
Is it
thing now,
'cause
or
we're
is
all
it a young person thing?
46?
'Cause
I don't
it confuses
understand it
the shit
at
out of
all.
me. I log
Yeah.
on my pages and I'm like,
and it looks
what?
crazy.
There's too
Yeah.
much stuff.
yeah,
crazy.
we like want to edit it to
Yeah,
clean
it's
it up.
funny.
But
Someone needs to redesign.
but
Facebook.
Instagram's a big one for
And then,
us.
what about your blog? I mean, I know.
I was
so the
just saying it's
blog,
connected to our
you
site
can get
and
to
it's
it through
beautiful.
the homepage. So
Right.
there's a big scroll across the top that says Shop Spa Blog. Just
Yeah,
click on
and
the big blog.
as I
word.
said, I love your blog.
Thank
it's just
you.
beautiful and the content's amazing. So I want to
Thank
encourage
you.
people to definitely go.
We
and
there.
love
we
it.
do
It's
all these
fun.
free events in the store. So if
Yeah.
anyone's in New York City, just
There's an event
us a
section
call.
on the blog.
yeah,
That
and
you can
guys
read
and
about.
everyone's always
Excellent.
welcome.
Excellent. Well, thank
Yeah.
you so much for joining me. I'm
Thank
glad
you.
you got
Thank
to come over to
you.
the
So
place.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always better doing it in person than it is on Skype and stuff.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
when I found out you were in town, I'm like, let's just do it. Let's go. Let's go.
So great. We
Thank you for
really are
making
happy
the
to be
time.
here.
Thank
Of
you
course,
for
it was
joining
fun.
us on Instagram Live over there and Facebook Live and what
Thanks,
will soon be
everyone.
YouTube. And
Yes.
we'll bid you farewell until we meet again.
Excellent. Thank you.